What's good? What's good? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kid Casper Podcast. I'm your gracious, beautiful, blessed, beloved, and black host, the kid they call Casper. The KID in Kid Casper stands for King in Development. I'm that menace with the melanin. Reject me as I am, as long as he's still relevant. So, I know I don't normally be here on Sundays, but, I decided, it was very, what's the word? I've been talking about this with my guest this evening for about maybe a week or so now. And, she happened to have a prior engagement that, fell through. And, the opportunist that I am, I was like, you know what? Let me get in that. I don't ask you for much. I want your time. Do you understand me? Don't charge me much because I'm broke. Sign up for our Patreon. It's only $2 a month. You know what I'm saying? That's besides the point. But, this is going to be a fun episode. Before we get into all that, though, let me drop the intro real quick. This is your first time tuning in today. Hello, I'm the kid that they call Casper. I am a Christian raptivist. Yes, rapper / activist. I love Jesus. Please don't test me because I'm far from a pacifist. I'm a leader of an interfaith coalition in the state of Maryland where we are trying to make systemic, educational, societal change, everything like that. Taco enthusiast, even though I'm eating the world's driest chicken. First off, Can I, you know what? Can I slander? I'm gonna slander. This is my podcast. These are the world's driest chicken nuggets. Like, I bought these. My sister knows what I'm talking about because I was smashing my food. Yeah, little old Wendy gun gave me cotton mouth. You understand me? I can't. These are the driest chicken nuggets I ever had in my life. These things are drier than Morgan Freeman's personality mixed with Ben Stein. These things are just awful. I couldn't do it. There's no reason that your chicken nuggets should be so dry in which that I feel like my tongue has eczema afterwards. But that's besides the point. Taco enthusiast, ghostthreads.com. That's how we pay the bills around here for Tetelestai Incorporated. And I have a wonderful guest this evening. We started off out as strangers in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, went from panelist, guest, and everything like that to pretty much I adopted her. She adopted me. Don't know if we're best friends just yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, we do call each other in the sad boy hours, you know what I'm saying? When we're not listening to R&B and eating chicken wings and everything like that. But, social media activist, business owner, full-time mom, full-time black mama, you know what I'm saying? I got my beautiful, fierce, mighty sister out of Virginia, the host of the Do Better Honey Do Better YouTube channel. Everybody, Ebony. How you doing today, sis?
Hi.
My goodness. So mind you, she's like super nervous. I'm gonna put her on blast real quick. She's like super nervous, even though we talk literally like every day. I don't know why she's nervous at all. This is just gonna be a fun conversation amongst people that essentially are like siblings to each other at this point. You know what I'm saying? I bust her balls, she busts mine, sometimes a little harder. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? This is gonna be good. It's gonna be love. Everything gonna be just fine. So, Eb, because this is your first one-on-one interview, and I let you off easy the first time I had you on my podcast. I had you give a little bit of like an intro about yourself, but people probably forgot about that because I'm really not as important as you are. You know what I'm saying? So if you could just tell your audience a little bit about yourself. Rumor has it you have a business. You got a couple of things cooking in the pot. Tell us a little bit about yourself today.
Yeah, definitely on the spot. Yeah, I have two businesses, actually. I have Ebony Rose Expressions, LLC, which is the website that sells apparel. And then I have my custom, pretty much I can make anything on my Etsy. So they keep me kind of busy. Of course, my show on YouTube, which I've been slacking, but I got to get back to it. But that's about it.
That's about it. You're not like, you're not like a social climate commentator or anything like that. You just had a baby that just graduated from high school. You know what I'm saying? We got to see you cry and smoking like back to back cigarettes and everything like that. She need also even though I'm a couple years sober, 9 years sober. Twisted Tea, if you need somebody to sponsor, I'm just saying, because not only is she about that action, but she love her some Twisted Tea. So when she give the tea, she sips the tea, and I don't know. I mean, like, that what's the word? That the dude that got Nate Robinson at 7-Eleven, I don't think he's a good candidate. But we go there around here, Ebony. You know what I'm saying? But but my sister over here, I'm telling you, perfect candidate. She'll drink responsibly and everything like that. She'll remind white people to use washcloths because apparently that's something that needs to be taught and it's not known. That's okay. I understand. I know it's hard out here in these streets. But yeah. So Eb, the reason that I called you here today, it's funny because I like called you to my office in a sense. You're in my space now. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to not only even though we talk when we actually do talk, because we're both so busy being entrepreneurs and everything like that, I thought that this would be a perfect opportunity for not only for myself to learn a little bit about you, but for your fans and everything like that. I don't know where they're at. Are they all on TikTok just chilling?
I'm pretty sure everybody has a life except me right now at this point. So
I'm here with you, so I know I don't got a life either. You fine. Like, this is fine. And you know what? That's fine. I'm not here to talk to them. You know what I'm saying? So like, it might just end up being us. That's cool. I'm not tripping. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have fun regardless. But I feel like this would be good for your audience too, your following, your cult like following and everything like that. This woman got a hashtag that's at like 2 million something hits. Like she's got a little flavor to it. You know what I'm saying? But I want you guys to be able to know the woman behind the videos, behind the personality, behind the fire and everything like that. So Eb, if you don't mind, gracing us with your story and everything like that. Now I'm gonna need you to dive in a little deeper. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what was it like, or very much just like, if you can, how much you care to divulge. Tell us a little bit about young Eb. You know what I'm saying? Tell us about like how you came to be and everything like that. The floor is yours. Well, the screen is yours, my sister.
The floor. A young Eb was very confused. And I think out of this whole confusion that I had growing up, lived in a very small town in Virginia, definitely a different type of experience than I think a lot of people have now. But yeah, young Eb was confused about everything. Identity, life, just in general, which I think is why I try to be so conscious of it now.
Okay. All right. So, if you don't mind, I mean, like I said, whatever you feel like disclosing. Now I know you to be from Virginia, correct? But did you grow up in Virginia? Where did you grow up? Where were you born? You know what I'm saying? Tell when I say this is your opportunity to like tell your story. Like, you tell your own narrative, your own biography and everything like that. She over there making faces on my monitors. Calm down. I'm not asking you to disclose your deepest, darkest secrets like you I don't know, crapped in a urinal or some weird stuff like that. Yeah, I think that would be super concerning. But but yeah, tell us what it was like. I mean, like, young Eb before she came, or better yet, tell us a little bit about Ebony before she became the Eb I know today. So come on. This is
I'm so nervous. Okay, so I was born in Alamogordo, New Mexico. My father was in the Air Force. Him and my mom were both from New Jersey, but they didn't know each other there. I don't know how we ended up in this small town in Virginia, but that's where I spent my whole entire life. Of course, until I went to college in Norfolk State. But yeah, like, definitely country girl. Yeah, I don't even know. I'm boring, actually.
I mean, you may be boring to yourself, but for those that like are captivated by you, you're so polarizing everything. I mean, I don't think you have a, what's the word? You don't really get an opinion in this matter. You know what I'm saying? Like the restaurant owner don't get to tell us how good his food is. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that eat there and get to experience the restaurant get to. So we ain't doing that. Like we'll tell you about yourself. How about that? We'll do that for you. But yeah, New Mexico. I think you're the first person I've met that's she another one to use you country folk. Though I was born in Wichita, Kansas, I'm a boy from the country. I am not a country boy. There's a distinct difference, you know what I'm saying? She definitely is not boring, you know what I'm saying? Like that, her laugh and everything like that. But so born in New Mexico. How long did you live in New Mexico for?
I think we moved. I was young, probably about 5 or 6.
Okay.
And then we moved to Virginia, and that's where I've been.
Gotcha. So so early, like you probably weren't even like you. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to assume you probably were freshly potty trained around this time and everything like that. You know, you just. You know what I'm saying? You learned to use baby wipes instead of toilet paper around this time, and everything like that. You said your parents met while your dad was in the Air Force, correct? Making sure I'm making sure nobody misses anything. Yes?
Air Force.
Okay.
Air Force.
Okay. You said in the Air Force, or they in divorce. Like what was that?
He was in the Air Force.
Oh, look, man. It sounded like something. I was like, oh, like you just gonna drop a bomb like that? Oh, okay, that's different. They met in divorce. Like what, court? Like for somebody else? That's awkward. My goodness. But yeah. Okay, so you moved to Virginia, around like 6-ish and everything like that. Tell us a little bit about what that was like for you, being in Virginia, knowing Virginia for what we know Virginia to be. Tell us what that was like for a young Eb in her I don't describe it, like just in her youth, growing up in, we'll just say, a problematic state like Virginia, if you want to break that down for me.
Yes. So it was hard. Again, I lived in a very small county, very rural, very racist. Like, they still had KKK members that had meetings, and it was rough being like one of 2, like different, I guess, category of people in that type of environment. Yeah, it was bad. It was rough.
Yeah, I can, it's, and this is a question I always ask people. And I think you've heard me tell this story a couple times. I didn't know what it meant to be Black in this country until like maybe like 5 or so. Story I always tell. I'm pretty sure my uncle was drunk. I don't know, but I was just whistling in the house. I love to whistle. I love music and everything. And he was like, don't be whistling around white folks. You're going to end up like your cousin Emmett. And I'm over here like, who the hell is cousin Emmett? You know what I'm saying? And then he broke down who Emmett Till was. And I was like, well, why would they do that? And he was like, don't you know it's dark on Skin O'Clock? And I was just like, oh, great. Traumatized at 5 years old. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, tell us, like, if you can remember this moment, just like I mean, I don't know if it was like a conversation or something like that. What was the moment for you growing up when you realized, oh, I know I'm Black, but understanding what being Black in this country, especially in Virginia, means at this time?
It's funny. That happened before I even got to Virginia, because I can remember it. I was actually in Jersey with my mother's family.
Okay.
And I hadn't been around them that much because we were in New Mexico. So we're transitioning to Virginia at this point, just staying with them until things got together. And I remember my mother's brother's wife, so my aunt. Yeah, she called me the N. And I remember it because after that moment, I felt like something was off, if I could say that. You know, I knew that I had this whole white family. And then in that moment, even though I always knew I was, you know, I knew it was different. But when I heard that word, it's like, oh, okay. Then you get to this rural county and it's like, all right, well, you know, there's more Black people here. But then I wasn't Black enough for them either. You know, it's hard because I also grew up in a time where people would be friends in school, but they weren't friends outside of school, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely get that. So one thing that you kind of touched base on a little bit was, I guess you said like, you know, this happened in, you said Jersey of all places. First off, they called you you said the N-word. You like kind of glitched at one point. Like, I need to know context reason. Was it N-word with a hard R or was it like a
yes?
Ooh,
yes.
They're still alive. You didn't pull baby hairs.
Well, I think the funny thing about that is that area. I did live there briefly at one point when my parents got divorced before I came back to Virginia. So probably about 6 months, and I went to school up there. And literally, there was a school of maybe 4,000 people and one Black child. That won't count me. Like that's the type of area that they lived in. So I had heard them say these things before. But it never was directed to me until that day.
And so you heard this like growing up and everything like that. But as you said, like it wasn't directed to you. So you probably didn't even, your brain as a child probably didn't even understand like what that word meant, like the history behind it, the hatred and the dehumanization of that word that was used against us as a people. You didn't even get it until, well, I mean, I'm not going to assume for you, but did you like even understand like what the actual word meant at this time?
I'm not necessarily, I don't think of course, had no idea about the historical context of it or any of that. I just knew it was like a bad word. It was a not nice word to call someone. And I remember my mom telling me that. Because at this point I would hear them say it about other people. And, you know, as a kid, you're going to want to like say other things. And I remember, so I knew it was a bad word. I didn't know the severity of it, of course.
Gotcha. And then when it was used towards you, you're like, and like the fact that it was used as a bad word and then you had it pretty much directed and it was used to afflict you. How did that make you feel? Like, first off, how old were you when this happened?
I want to say I was 5, like it was right before we moved to Virginia. I just, from that point on, I don't know what I thought I was up until that point. Because my mom did a great job. Well, and my mom did a great job of keeping me in tune with like my Blackness, you know, ever since I can remember. But I just don't think at that young age, I thought anything that there was no difference to anybody to me. It was, you know what I'm saying? Like there was no Black folks, white folks, everybody, we were just people, you know, I'm a kid. And the mom trying to explain away the bad in the world by not creating that difference that should have been there, if that makes sense. So yeah, at that point, I knew that I was different.
That had to be really, I don't know how to describe it. That had to be really confusing for you. And like, especially like, so that happened to you when you were 5. So like right around time, I don't think I had somebody call me the N-word at 5. Then again, if they did, I didn't hear it. And, you know, a couple of people I grew up around, they were swing first and ask questions later, but that's besides the point. But yeah, that had to be trauma. That had to be in some ways semi-traumatizing. Like, do you like, I guess like when you see like stuff that happens in which people use that word, like, do you, because I like to call this something that they call it in therapy is emotional allergic reactions or trauma, essentially. Like you can't control how it actually impacts you, but you can control like, I guess like what you do about it. And then on top of that, you can control like the recovery process for it. So like what do you feel like that moment in itself kind of still, I don't want to say haunts you, but like impacts you to this day? Because you were 5 at this time.
Oh, most definitely. But not in the sense of, I think for me, that the feeling afterwards, you know, the question of my, I guess, existence, my identity or whatever. But it wasn't until as I got older and had different experiences, and when I started like learning the things that we're not taught, that is the one moment that sits in my head for just changing everything. You know, you have a couple moments in your life where like certain things happen, and it's like at that moment, stuff changed. And for me, I don't know if I knew it in that moment or during that time, but that is the turning moment for a lot of things for me. The first set of people who are supposed to love you are your family.
Yeah,
But they're probably, no, but they can't because you're not like them.
And so one of the things that, I mean, you've talked about this. I don't know if you've ever like touched base on this publicly. And I don't really know like where this happens, but you told me a couple of times that when people try to tell you, for instance, like, oh, racism isn't real, like that, guys, racism ended when slavery ended, you know what I'm saying? Racism ended when slavery ended. But then I remember like you and me I remember like maybe like within the first week or a couple of weeks after we had met and everything like that, you told me that like the KKK like came to your house and burned a cross on your front lawn. Would you, if you want to, I mean, like, because like I said, I want to be sensitive and everything like that. This may be, you know, super traumatic, and, you know, I don't know if it still like leaves a scar or hurts you to this day, but if you wanted to like talk about that moment, screen is yours.
Yeah, no, it definitely, I think in that moment it was traumatizing, but as I look back, it's like it could have been something else, you know? I think I was like, I feel like I was 13. And at this point, my mom and dad had been divorced. You know, we still live in the same county, different houses or whatever. And I remember waking up, my mom on the phone. I get up, I look out the window in the yard, and literally hoods on the opposite side of the street. I'm a lot older than some people. So when I say stuff like that, they're like, what? That nobody does that now. I'm like, yes. Yes, they did, actually. And yeah, I had to be 13. So like it was that long ago, but it won't. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It's because like I think like what sometimes when I think what we do as people, not as a people, talking about just people in society in general, we hear stuff, and I think in a lot of ways we try to, and there's like two things: we lack empathy for others, and it's I don't like how this makes me feel. Maybe if I convinced them to think it wasn't that bad, it wouldn't make me feel so bad. But for you, you're 13. You're like, what in the hell is going on with these I assume they're white guys. I mean, last time I checked, unless they're taking applications for some of our cousins that stayed on the plantation after slavery ended. That's besides the point. But yeah, what in the hell, that had to be like just haunting for you? Like, seriously, that was ridiculous.
Well, I think at that time, again, traumatizing at that time. But as I look back on some of the other stuff, I don't think that was the worst thing. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know how to explain it. You'd have kids in school, and all of us, you know, for the most part, were cool in school. But I wasn't staying at white people's houses. That there was one white girl house who I stayed at. And that's because her mom just, you know, was a decent person. But like everybody else, their moms would just come to the school, speak to us. But none of us were sleeping at their house ever. I can't remember one time.
And I mean, like, I don't think that there's a way to like reason with this in any way, shape, or form. But like, was it explained why they were there? Like, what was it? What was going? Like, if you could like you don't even know. Like, they just showed up essentially.
You mean at the house?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, like I don't know about you. I don't know about you, but if if somebody's dog poops on my front lawn, I want to ask questions. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You also got to know too, like we live in the country, so houses are like not that close together, right? So when I say standing across the like yard or across the street, literally like in the ditch in front of the tree line, you know, kind of thing. So I didn't hear him. I don't know, was I asleep? I can't even remember that portion. Like, what was I doing? But I could hear my mom on the phone, and I was like, what? And then I look out the window and brightened up the whole outside.
That's wild, man. That's crazy. First off, like, happy you survived. It seems like in a lot of ways, like that moment, like it like you took something bad and it could have been it got turned to good in a sense, because I mean, you and me have this conversations a lot. Like when you are an American of African descent, but you, like, for instance, it's a little, what's the word? The sun is still out on skin o'clock on your side of the screen. You know what I'm saying? You're a little brighter than the most of us. But it's funny that, like, you know, I feel like sometimes when we're dealing with people, especially people that come from our camp, it's very easy to bend with, like, I guess, like either the environment or anything. But you grew up in a toxic environment. It was very easy, even though like I assume it was your white side of the family called you the N-word. You could have easily took that in as you accepted it, that it happened, but you knew that wasn't acceptable. Talk to me a little bit about, like, because you touched on it a little bit earlier, but talk a little bit about, like, not only are you finding yourself as young Ebony at this time, but finding yourself, like, in your blackness, especially like growing, like, that's why, like, I thought that this would be interesting to kind of have you talk about this. But growing up in Virginia, of all places, you know, looking the way that you look, having these, like, scenarios and instances happen within your environment could have bled into you, meaning, like, you could have been influenced by, like, the ways of the environment that you grew up in. Tell us a little bit about what you finding your blackness meant as a young Ebony. Screen is yours.
So I'd have to say I've always had it. But I think for me, I spent my whole life, I guess, like, in the middle. You know, I knew who I was. I knew the spaces I grew up in. But then to have so many people tell me that I'm not that, you know, it's disheartening. But me and my age now, I always took people saying certain things to me as negating my blackness. You know, it took a long time for me to get where I know I'm black. I've lived the black life. But I also know that I have an advantage. I have a privilege that a fully black woman does not have. So I used to think when people wouldn't put me in these spaces as the black person, it meant I wasn't black. But as I've gotten older and had to, you know, see the aftermath of certain scenarios and understand that doesn't mean I'm less black, but I can't occupy a space that's not meant for me. So I think I'm so comfortable in myself that I know there's spaces I cannot occupy, or I won't allow myself to occupy. But that doesn't mean I'm less black than I am. As far as racism and things like that, I always talk about how it's based off geographical location. Because let's say I had grew up somewhere else. It may not have been this. I just happened to grow up in a time in a place where it doesn't matter what you are. If you're not all white, you're just, you know what I mean? I've never been white to white people ever.
Tell us a little bit about that, because and you know, we talked about this a couple of times, but you know, that the fact that you can, like, for instance, like, you know, somebody, if they really wanted to get, like, over analytical about your genealogy and just, like, the pigmentation of your representation, they could go as far to say that, oh, you're white passing. Just if we're comparing, you know what I'm saying? If we're just comparing to, like, for instance, like me, even though I'm considered light skinned for some odd reason, I apparently was shining silverware. while everybody else was in the fields. You know, I don't know. This is stuff that I've heard everybody else say. I don't claim that. Not that I would take pride in either position because we're still on the plantation. But talk to us a little bit about like you were never allowed to be white. Like, what does that mean for you? You know what I'm saying?
So first, starting with my mom and my dad, I will say this: my mom didn't prepare me for people to question my identity, right? But she always raised me as a child of color. When I grew up in a Black Baptist church, went to it every Sunday and Wednesday. My mother stepped foot in that church maybe once.
That had to be interesting.
Baptized. Literally. My mom had only went there when I got baptized because she put me in spaces with Black people all the time. That's all I know. And then you get on TikTok. TikTok is crucial. Like, they're brutal.
So I think that what's kind of funny in a sense is like you said, you grew up, growing up in Virginia. And it seems like just from like what I know from your story and even like what you're telling me now, you pretty much grew up like with your mom. Like your mom raised you essentially. Is that fair to say? Like your mom raised you?
Mommy, they were divorced. He was there, but he won't there. If that makes sense.
No, and I say that so like, and I say this because this is important. So like you grew up with I know y'all laugh every time I say you grew up with a white mama. You know what I'm saying? You grew up with a white mom in a predominantly like white town where think that
the funny it's not predominantly white.
Go ahead, tell your story, sis.
Like the town itself, it's pretty mixed, pretty much Black, and white kind of population is equal. But I think it's the way things were. Some kids went to the academy, so you won't always like with people. But the white, I'd have to say, there was some very racist white people there. So
I think maybe what I'm trying to get at is like the ideology was saturated with whiteness. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm interested to hear about this. Like, how did your mom do it? Like you said, she put you in these Black spaces, but everything around you could have easily made you dissolve yourself of your Blackness. But like, either what was it that you had to end up doing to like remind yourself, I'm Black, I'm Black, I'm Black, I'm Black, I'm Black, I'm Black. This is not okay. I'm Black, I'm Black, I'm Black. But like, tell us about like things that once she would do, things that she would say and affirm, edify, and encourage you with, and things that you would tell yourself as far as the mental gymnastics in which that you were trying to navigate in this development stages of your early life.
Well, I'd have to say, for one, she was the first person to tell me that, the world's not going to see me as white. She might not have prepared me to understand that I'd be questioned all the time, but she definitely told me, the world's not going to see me as white. And she was right. Like, it never has been that way. Gosh, that was a lot of questions at one time. What else?
No, I'm sorry. So like,
my brain doesn't work like that, Casper.
My bad. I'm over here entertaining people on your stream. I'm trying to get them to come over to YouTube.
My fault. This was the last.
No. You're good. You focus on me. This is what I do. I does this. You understand me? But like what I was asking was like, okay, so she said stuff like, you are Black. She said she didn't prepare you for spaces and encounters in which people would question your Blackness in a sense. But another thing I asked, like, what did you tell yourself in these spaces? I mean, it's one thing to have people speak something over your life, but what were you telling yourself during this time to affirm your Blackness in a sense?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know, because I just always knew. Like even during the time with the N word with the hard R, it was I knew, but I was not aware of the differences between white people and Black people at that point. I didn't realize there were I didn't realize, but I've always known. I've never not felt Black.
Gotcha. Plus, you're named after a magazine, so I mean, like, how? I don't think you are allowed to like be on some coon stuff. I think I would snatch your baby hairs fast in it. I think I would. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I hate to see coonery. Like, I can't. It's a pet peeve. Like, sit down.
Yeah. Because for me, I'm sitting over here like, man, Harriet Tubman would have shot you. You know that? Like, do you know that he would double pump, blew your top half back? Understand me? That's funny. So, all right, so jump forward a little bit, because I want people to, like I said, because you and me talk probably more than most people that are even joining us on live stream and everything like that. So little people don't know about you. And I checked you out, when I first met you. I always like to dig in on my people and everything like that. Nothing dark or anything like that. I don't know where the bodies are. So don't send nobody to my house. You know what I'm saying? But you talk about like your business and stuff like that, but there's so much artistry even in like how you convey yourself. You're a poet, you know what I'm saying? You do spoken word. What I'm not gonna have you spit at 16. I mean, if you do, we'll have to put your Cash App up and people will be blessed. People will just be forced to bless you, you know what I'm saying? And if they don't bless you, then they probably eat their Kit Kat sideways and wear their jeans to bed. But yeah, I said what I said. Like wearing their jeans to bed and putting peas on their mayonnaise. Shout out Key if you're watching. Hi, how you doing? But tell it like what first. One thing I'm like curious about when I meet people that like get like these that are in these like have these creative brains in a sense. Like, what made you catch the bug? As far as like that form, that like that version of your art, getting in like spoken word and poetry and everything like that.
Heartbreak. I've been writing since I was in high school, but I never like did anything with it. But you go through a couple heartbreaks, you get some good shit to write about. So, or it gets that creative juice going. So that's when I really started wanting to write and actually doing it more often, I guess.
Got it. You was writing. You wrote two. So what you're saying is you wrote "Take Care" for Drake and a couple of other these like these no names that just popped out of the blue over the last 10 years. I think it's funny. Like when people say that, it's like, oh, you get your heart broken a couple times. You got something to talk about. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to, and that's completely up to you about like what even may have. You said high school. You know what? I might be, I'm nosy. This is my podcast. Answer it if you'd like to. What was it for you that you said it was a heartbreak? Like what you don't even have to give me like if you want to, but like what was the incident, the encounter, what was the circumstances that you were in this place of brokenness that you were just like, you know what? I don't know. I don't think they didn't have Twisted Tea around that time, did they? I don't think so.
They did not. They had malt liquor though, so like, yeah. I mean, it's fine.
That's fine. No judgment here. But if you want to talk about like the circumstances that put you in that, and then like what provoked you to write, if you feel compelled, tell us a little bit about that.
I can make it general. So I would always write like in middle school is when I started, but it was always like a cheesy something that was never that good until I got to high school. And, I feel like it was my senior year, junior year. I don't know. I was just madly in love with this guy. And, he was a typical teenager. So there's that. Then, that heartbreak happened and I just wrote, submitted some poems and stuff. A couple of them had been magazines. And I was like, dag, like, I need to be depressed all the time so I can write really well, be successful or something.
All right. So so I don't know if I told you this. I used to, we had this thing in, oh my God, I got something in my eye. What the hell is that? We had this thing in my high school called Lacuna. It was like the literary magazine. I did like, poetry slams and everything like that. I always submitted my stuff anonymously because I get nervous. I don't like people looking at me and stuff. I say that now. I say that now, like back then, because everybody's just like, but you're so bold and confident. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just really good at being nervous and people not noticing it. But but what was it that like what was that feeling for you to like see like your art and everything like that, having people be exposed to like this, I like to call it this groove and a fingerprint to like young Ebony as an artist in like literary magazines?
I felt like a celebrity. Just because, being young and having it printed somewhere and like your friends didn't have stuff like that. So of course it like went to my head like, oh my God, I'm in a magazine. But, once I came back down and humbled myself, it kind of just gave me that nudge like, oh my God, you can actually do something and it be good. Because my whole life, I've always felt like nothing I did was good enough. I still have those moments as an adult, but like to actually see it somewhere that thousands of other people could have had their work in too, but they chose yours. It's a dope feeling.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And I think we do that a lot as people. We're and I say this because you and me do this for each other all the time. You like to put me on blast like you're live and everything like that. That's besides the point. But like affirmation, positive affirmation is like, it's easy to give out, but it's easy to what's the word? It's easy to prescribe and administer to people, but it's not easy for you to take the pill yourself. That's funny. It's like, it's even funny to like hear you say that, even though like we talk, off camera and everything like that. Well, offline, we'll say that, like, we're usually like I said, we're usually up at sad boy hours with bonnets and do-rags, eating chicken wings and everything like that. But but it's just funny how to kind of hear that, because like I said, when I first stumbled upon you, I was just like, who is this fiery? I was like, who is Auntie over here just like popping off at people? Because I saw you a couple times on my For You page, and I was just like, I don't know why, but I need to know this woman. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, God, she's just so fiery. She like you sit up, like even if you slouch it, and not saying you have a bad posture, but like even like how you carry yourself, you stand up straight when you talk. Does that make sense? Absolutely. And yeah, you on guard when you get in good trouble, whether it's you sipping on your tea or what I think is hilarious, because I literally, like, every video you put up, I'm literally looking for the lipstick on the straw. It's not complete. Her niche is not complete if there's not lipstick on the straw. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's funny. That's some funny stuff. So, fast
here, though.
Go ahead.
Really quick. What's even funnier? That I got on TikTok to spy on my kids.
And now you're a TikTok star. You just out here.
Not a star. Just doing more than they thought I would.
Right. How many followers? If you will, matter of fact, I'll look. You gonna lie on yourself. How many followers do your kids have? And I'll tell you how many followers you have.
My kids have 0 followers because all they do is look at videos. They don't even post. All 3. Well, my son does video games on his, but he only has like 1 video.
Got it. And you over here with 1.2 million likes, 55.1 thousand followers and counting. Like, I think, this flex was brought to you by you gained like 400 followers one day when I was talking to you. I'm like, look. I'm like, what the, like,
I don't know why people like me.
Cause you're funny. Like, your energy, it's your energy is infectious. Like, it's the charisma. I'm telling you, like, just speaking for myself, I'm definitely attracted to your wisdom, the way that, when I say like the boldness in which that you carry yourself, and even how like it's just funny, like when you get to like know the people, the mind behind the creations and stuff. Like, for instance, this one you posted this morning, 100,000 you got 100,000 views on these goofy white girls with this hat. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I remember I was texting you like maybe an hour after like this. I'm like, so you just like rolled over and just be amazing? Is that what it is? Bonnet on, everything like that. You just roll over and get 100 like that, huh? That's how it is.
I just see stuff sometimes and it's like, what? And if I don't record it, then I forget.
You just you start crusting your eyes in this video. Like you just like, you know what? This is gonna be hilarious. All right. You just like, it's too early for this, and then you just get 100, like just like that. It's just easy like that, huh?
But I seriously, and I'm gonna tell you, the God's honest truth. Like every day, I can't believe that people like me and want to listen to me talk, and just sometimes come there to see a video. Like it amazes me every day because I really don't think I'm that likable. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, it feels good, but in the same sense, it's like, why? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. I don't think I'm really that. I still don't. I don't, y'all try to give me my flowers. I'm like, I mean, I can see why y'all gave me flowers because I really ain't. I can understand why you would want to change the scenery and everything like that. But now this was not one I freestyle all of these, but like. So, your numbers are, first off, when do you think like that, when you hit like the algorithm, like when did you like notice that you hit the algorithm and you realized that like your numbers were like growing expeditiously? Like, when do you think that was?
So, I don't know when this was. This might've been like last year, I think. This is when I first started, like, people just started following me. There was a song. And it was about a girl saying she's going to take somebody's boyfriend. But the song went like super viral on TikTok. And it just bothered me so bad because everybody was making these trend videos about a guy and a girl sitting there. And then some girl just coming up being like real disrespectful. And I hate that. Like, that's a personal thing for me. Like, I don't like that. So the song kept playing and I just got really irritated one day. Like, and I went on here and I like was cussing and shit. And then that video got a couple 100,000 views. People started like popping up like, oh my God, girl. I was like, literally, the day I made the video, I was pissed off because I was like, I'm tired of this damn song. So I literally I didn't even know how to work damn TikTok really like that. I was making videos of putting furniture together and shit. And then I hit the button and then I just started cussing. And then people was just like, oh my God, yes. I love the way you went off or something like that. And I'm like, okay. So then I started, I had gotten into my niche, whatever. And
you better talk your talk. You got in your bag. Talk about how you got in your bag on here real quick.
Listen, this whole TikTok journey has been, I don't know, it's been amazing to say the least. Like, it's definitely an app that has so many faults, but has the potential to be so great. But it's a wonderful tool to like connect with people. And it feels, I think it's something I didn't know I needed. And then it was just there. I know it's weird for like a social media app to be that, but.
Okay. So so I think it's kind of funny because like you and me, I remember this specifically, like we were on Zoom or something. And then like your camera was off for a little bit. And like, I think it was like me and Jess were on there with you. And like, at one point, like Jess was like, I ain't heard Eb in a minute. Eb, what you doing? All we hear is, huh? You're on TikTok, aren't you? Yes. This idiot here, beep, 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 beep. Like, not saying you're cussing, but you know, you just like, I mean, sometimes, I don't know. I mean, personally, I think Queen Jess, drops more bombs than you. Look, personally, but
she got me beat.
Yes, like I'm like, the funny thing is like I could just imagine like TV back in the day, and she just how do I put this delicately? Like, you would think that she was what's that thing? Is it Morse code? Is it Morse code with the beeps? Oh yeah. Yeah, that'd be the that'd be the only way like Jess would be able to communicate with people, which is sad but funny at the same time. We love you, but yeah, you be tripping.
They say that using profanity often when speaking is a sign of high level intelligence. So I'd like to think that about us.
Interesting. That's one way to look at it. I just think that and it's not that it's a bad thing. You're just like, this needs hot sauce. This sentence needs hot sauce. This whole TikTok needs hot sauce. We're just gonna dump the whole bottle of hot sauce on this. That's funny. So, as your numbers are growing and everything like that, you're starting to, what's the word? You're starting to like build influence. You're starting to is funny because like even like when I told a couple of people about you, and I told people about like the first podcast I had you on, you were like, oh, you got auntie on TikTok. I was like, thought I was the first one to call her auntie, damn it. What does that like, because you're so you what's the word, you're so impactful, what does that do for you being, I'm not going to throw your age out there because you say I don't believe you say, well, I am going to throw your age out there. You say you're 42, right? Looking like you're 27. We need a birth certificate, but that's besides the point. But what does that do for you? Like having all these people, like for instance, like in your live and stuff, and they're all like, and they're just like, cause I've been in there a couple of times. They're like, hey auntie, hey big sis, you know what I'm saying? Like, what does that do for you knowing that you have not only garnered this attention, but people like the term of endearment in our community, Killmonger and Black Panther, hey auntie, you know what I'm saying? Like, what does that do for you knowing that you leave that much of a mark on people? You know what I'm saying?
So first, I'm definitely going to have to say that especially like in my lives, I have met, I have to tell people this all the time before I go into anything else. I have met some of the most amazing people, literally some of them that are in there like, hey sis, we literally talk outside the app. And I met them on TikTok and I feel like I've known, them my whole life. People like you and it's just, it's amazing.
Shut up. Don't talk about me. Talk about everybody else. Keep going.
No. You can't tell me what to do, see?
Yes, I can. This is my podcast. I will mute you. Go ahead. I'm just messing with you. Go ahead.
I know. So I'd have to say that. But then I get this a lot, and it every time somebody says it like throws me off. You know what I mean? I'll have people like inbox me, and I don't know whatever video they came from, and they'll say stuff about that. And then they're like, you're like my real TikTok mom. Or, I get the auntie a lot. I cannot believe that people like me. Like it's so unbelievable, but it makes me feel so good about myself. Like people think I'm a decent human, and that's, all I really strive to be. It's decent.
And you know what I think it is though, is like, you don't really, you say the word strive, because I definitely believe that being intentional in everything we do is important. But in a time period like this, being decent, like I think I forgot who said it. One of y'all said it in that group chat. You're like, yo, you're like a unicorn. And I was just like, what the hell are you talking about? And you were like, you're just so decent and kind. And I'm like, I'm an a-hole. Like I told you my story. I told you this story.
Yes.
I don't know who it was, but I told you the story like before we went live. And I'm like, y'all think I'm like, God has done a work in me, you know what I'm saying? But I think like the funny thing is like for you, maybe it seems so shocking because we see these people that are so polarizingly like toxic get idolized and loved, and it's almost in today's society, in today's climate, it's good for your niche to be toxic, to be problematic, to be bigoted, to be racist, to be homophobic, to be misogynistic, sexist, you name it. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that makes this country great. You know what I'm saying? That is like the way to succeed. But then like these, like there's like this corner pocket in the algorithm that like as you speak of, because I've met, like I tell this to you, like I've met some of the best people in TikTok, because when I first got on there, it was like, I think I got on TikTok late November, and it was like after the election, and I was just like, God, there's a bunch of weirdos on here. Good Lord. Like people who are like, it's just off the chain. But like, I think what it is though, Eb, is like, just like how I talked about, like with your upbringing and stuff, you could have allowed the environment in which you grew up in bleed into you, but you decide to bleed into your environment, whether it's on your lives, whether it's just you and me talking and stuff. I call it like this, and you know, me being a Christian and everything, I like to be intentional in saying I don't know if this will make sense. I like to be intentional in saying that I am a thermostat instead of a thermometer. I could either record the temperature around me, or I can set the temperature around me. And I've noticed that even when people be on some BS, like, and there's some BS in like either in your comment section, in your lives, you either have moderators in place. You're like, we're not doing that here. First off. Second, you're very, and this is a good thing. Like, I don't like to call black women angry. I don't like to call black women angry black women. You're a black woman that gets angry. It seems there's a stigma on that and everything like that. But you're very intolerant of BS, or as you like to say, it'd be mad effing weird. But, and I think that that's a good thing. But when I say that's a good thing, it's because there's so many people that like that will fold to that type of pressure, and they will fold to like people trying to like get you to like compromise who you are. But you're like, no, I was like this when I had like 100 followers. I'm gonna be like this while I have 55 and counting. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being nosy. Don't mind me. 55,000 and counting. I think that's what it is, honestly, for sure. And you live in Virginia. Like, I can't wait to visit you, but I might have to be on the phone with you the whole time. Like, they don't like us out there. Do you understand me? Like, my goodness. But yeah, that's dope. That's beautiful for real. So I don't know. I mean, like after hearing all of that, like how does that make you feel?
Weird. I'm so strange. Like I'm not compliments or people thinking nice things. It's just like, I don't know how to, I feel awkward. Isn't that weird?
I mean, I get it. A couple of people calling for you to be president over here. Apparently, I'm looking on TikTok. They said that.
I'm at a point now, honestly, I'm old as hell. Ain't nobody on this planet is gonna tell me about myself, tell me about what's right, tell me about what's wrong. Like, people spend too much time trying to tell somebody else who they are, and I ain't gonna be the one. I'm grown, you know?
I feel that for sure. So I'm gonna take back a little bit because, you know, we touched on like who you are as far as Eb now, and we even touched a little bit like on your childhood and stuff. But I want to take it back because like every time I have a panelist, especially when I'm doing like these individual Koinonia like episodes on my podcast, let's go back like a year real quick. So, you know, we're still in the pandemic now, or we're still in the pandemic now, but us being, you know, Americans of African descent, you know, we already are going through a pandemic, and then we were born into a country that is suffering from a clandemic, you know what I'm saying, with 3 Ks. Like, I always say that we were born in a war that we didn't start. We were initiated into a firefight, not knowing how to put out fires. But if we weren't active in putting out these fires, we would get burned. or we would be considered weak because we got burned. So talk to me a little bit about, I'm trying to think like when the first, I don't want to say first, but like the monumental ones, but like, okay, so around this time last year, we're in the pandemic. And, you know, I think this is also be important too. So I'm gonna make this a 2-part question, but I'll ask you my first question first. Tell me what the pandemic was like for you. Because you and me have talked about, you know, offline and everything, like how that impacted you and everything. But like, tell us a little bit about what that was like for you. Because I don't think you're not that, when I say you're not that old, like, I don't think you were here for the Spanish flu or none of that other stuff. I don't think so. Last time I checked, unless you got, you know, I know your skin looked good. I'm trying to figure out what your skincare routine is because I've never seen, like, I'm actually kind of upset. I've never seen the closest thing to blemishes on you. But tell us a little bit about, is that Twisted Tea in your cup? Yo, somebody, look, let me help you out real quick. Everybody, can you find Twisted Tea if they got any social media? Like, take clips of this, take Eb's TikToks and whatever, post on social media and be like, Twisted Tea, tag them, whatever you try. I'm trying to get my sister paid. You know what I'm saying? I think she'd really appreciate it. Like, Twisted Tea, cut the check. You know what I'm saying? My goodness. Like, but yeah, tell us a little bit about the pandemic. What was that like for you? And, you know, take your time on this. Like, what was that doing for you? Like, not only circumstances wise, if, you know, you were working and everything like that, but what did that do to you, like, up here? Because, you know, I'm really big on mental health and everything like that. What impact did the pandemic have on you? And you can either start from like where it started, like around this time, but tell us a little bit about this period in time.
So for me, honestly, I'm a big homebody anyway. So when the pandemic
so you're like me.
Yeah,
it was our time to shine.
Literally the day, because I worked for a school system, the day that the day before they were going to notify everyone that, you know, school was shutting down, they called us in after school was over for this meeting. You know, all the kids would be going home, the teachers will be working from home, but I worked in the office. I was a 12-month employee, and they didn't say anything about us, so we continued to come to work. Every day I was like, when are they going to tell us that we can go home too? Because I was ready for it. Like, I'm fine with being at home. It definitely gives you too much time to think. But as far as being stuck in the house and my mental health itself, it wasn't that bad as I expected it to be. There were definitely moments where, you know, you have too much time to think because you technically can't go anywhere. In those moments, it was, what am I doing with my life? Do I really want to do this? You know, like, what's going to happen when we go back to working in the building? You know, it's just so many, because I had too much time. Because while I was working from home, you know, that's different than being occupied, getting up, getting dressed, going to work. But,
question. I am going to interrupt you because I think this is good for context purposes. Now, did you have your business at the time? Like with Etsy and like your shop and everything like that? Did you have that at this time? Well, I unmuted you, then you unmuted. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was having, I did. I've had my business since 2016. In my Etsy, about 2 years, I think now, year and a half, 2 years. But I had always done this since 2016. But at that point, I was like making my own shirts. I did custom shirts, things like that, instead of having a website that had all these things. My website used to have different stuff on it because I was doing something different on my website at that point. But yeah, I've had my business the whole time.
Okay, because the reason I'm asking this, for like, so like, I don't know if I told you, so I started my business, like my clothing apparel. I started my podcast and everything. I started that during pandemic. Why? I had time on my hands, and I had time on my hands, and what's the word? I'm a full-time creative. I got bills. Like, it's cool to like live the artist dream, but nigga, I got bills. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's why, like, because I don't think I ever actually asked you that question. One, but like, and that's gotta, and that this is also to, you can plug this into as well, being like, you know, artist and everything. I've never been so tested as a creative until the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Because everything that's like, you know what I'm saying? Because everything that stimulates you at this time is different. Your stimulants mean like all these things that you may use as far as like inspiration, they're altered because you're locked in here, this, that, and the third. Your days are close to the same thing because it's the same environment all the time. Did that have an impact on you creatively by chance? You said it didn't really touch you up here, but like, how about like with your art, with like your crafting and everything? Did it impact you in that way, shape, or form?
So I'm gonna be honest. During the pandemic, I should have done that. I should have expanded more of my business, but I didn't. It still just remained by order. I focused on it, not that often unless I had an order. So I wouldn't say that the pandemic like hindered any of the creative process, because I wrote more during the pandemic. I just didn't create more physically during the pandemic, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. I definitely get that. All right. So next to the the second part of my question, I touched on how us being Americans of African descent, where we went through the pandemic last year, but we were born into a clandemic. So last year, we're all on lockdown and everything like that. And unfortunately, like, people that look like us are being killed in silence. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, for instance, with like cases like Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, these deaths, I'm not going to say deaths because death is natural. Killing is killing. That's when an ego or a outside party gets involved. But tell us a little bit about, being home, knowing like this stuff is happening, and we're all supposed to be inside. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're like, or better yet, I think like the more direct question to ask, because I don't think I've ever asked like just a direct question on my podcast about this, especially like with a woman of African descent on here. Talk about like Breonna Taylor. You know what I'm saying? She's I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she was a urgent care worker and everything like that. She's essential. You know what I'm saying? She's working during this pandemic and everything. She's home sleeping in the comfort of her own home and everything like that. And she gets killed basically. Talk about like what that death, like that impact it had on you personally while we're like all locked in this pandemic, but still seeing the fruits of a clandemic during this time.
Helpless. I felt helpless.
Break that down.
So, not that if we weren't in a pandemic, that us individually could have done much to prevent it, right? But being stuck where, what else can you do but sit at home and contact people and things like, you know what I mean? The computer work, the handwriting work, the sending letters or something. What can you do? It's like, how is the world shut down and then we still have incidences? I don't know if that makes any sense.
I think like that the reason like I asked this question, so like for me, for instance, like seeing this stuff is happening, like something is already outside of your control. Pandemic, we can't control viruses and stuff like that. That some people can go and be super dark and say, oh, it's God, you know what I'm saying? Like, but anyway, but like that, it's already bad enough that we have all these other things out of control, but then you're seeing people like us getting brutalized on top of that. I think that's what you're saying. People like us are being brutalized, which is also outside of our control. So you're helpless on top of helpless on top of helpless, if that's what you were getting at.
Yes. And I don't know. I think the pandemic, listen to me, pandemic
You're good.
had us just not knowing what to do or if anything could be done at all. Right now, Are we still kind of in a pandemic? Yeah, but it's nothing like it was then when we were restricted almost, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's I think what it is like this is why, like I say, like the mental health aspect is super important, because it was torture. Like when I say it was torture, I don't know, like for two reasons. One, I'm getting super bored. I was cooking everything on Pinterest. First off, you know what I'm saying? Like I was cooking everything on Pinterest. But then I think like the reason I bring that up is because like it was a toll on me mentally. So I think like these deaths hit harder than they ever did before, because mentally I was going through a time in being Black in America was way different than ever before. And then like the insanity of like how this happened. You know, she's an essential worker. She gets killed in her own home. The cops realize that they have the wrong house. And then they're like, oh man, we killed the wrong Negro. All right, we're going to go get... I mean, that's essentially how they acted. Like, I hate that it sounds like that, but they were just like, oh, we killed the wrong Negro. We got to get out of here. And then her boyfriend got a... is like, you done shot my lady, turned my door into Swiss cheese. Can I at least get an ambulance? You know, he had to call an ambulance. He had to call and get them help. They went very, very far, and all through intention. And we're still fighting to give Breonna Taylor justice, to cover it up in a sense. I think that was particularly frustrating. But like, and I bring this back to you because we have these instances in this country. We have these instances in this country where, I'll say it like this, and push back on me if you think that this is like crossing the line or by any means, but even like the hashtag, like say her name, like, you know, in our cases, like Black men, you know, we're the most menacing, demonized figure in society. So there's more of us being brutalized in the streets and everything like that. But I think like what ends up happening is like you guys as women, as a people, are getting glossed over. So like, you know, we got Sandra Bland, Atiana Jefferson, all these instances in which Black women are being brutalized, but because the media is fixated on like men that look like me, they end up being forgotten about. Like, how does, like, knowing all of this that has happened historically, how did this like personally impact you being a Black woman, being a woman in America of African descent? Like, how does that, like, what emotions, how did that impact you? Like, what did, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how did that deeply impact you or afflict you in any way, shape, or form?
So I always say the Black woman is the most disrespected and underappreciated person in America. And part of the privilege that I have is that I don't have to worry about certain things that darker skinned women do. So to constantly see how society views Black men and gloss over, as you said, all these things that are happening to Black women is disheartening, because for one, they're looking at our men like, you know, they're animals, and our women that they're not enough to be cared about in, you know, the media as much as everyone else. And it's sad. And I don't know how else to explain it. Like every day you see these things every day. So seeing these things during a pandemic, like you said, you have too much time to think. You have too much time to sit there and, you know, when you're carrying the weight of your own personal problems and everyone in America is going through half of this stuff together, it becomes overwhelming. Like hard to deal with sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, it's something I want to kind of touch on when you said this. And, you know, for those that don't know and everything like that, like I think you have what, 2 sons, if I'm not mistaken? You have 2 sons, one's a middle and a youngest, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's got to be exhausting. Like I always tell people, and you grew up in a church, and I know we've talked about like our spirituality and everything like that. But one thing I always tell people is nothing is stronger than a Black mama's prayers, because not only are you trying to navigate as a double minority in this country, but then you have two Black men where at one point in society, they go from being cute to a threat in this country. But another thing, like, because I want this to be personal for you, because the Black experience is not a monolithic experience. So we're going to speak about Ebony right here, but like you have two Black sons, but also have a daughter that you're also raised in this country. So the demonization, the otherizing, the dehumanizing that happens to Black men. But then you also you cannot forget the dehumanizing aspect, the otherizing aspect, and the brutalization aspect of being a double minority and also raising a double minority in this country. Like, does that, I don't know how to describe it, like knowing like all this and having like taking an inventory with all of that, how does that, with like I said, like with what just happened, like with what happened with Breonna Taylor, how does that make you feel? You know what I'm saying?
It's scary. You turn on the news at any time and something has happened, and then you also kind of carry the mindset like, that won't happen to my kids, that won't happen to, but the more these things happen, it's almost like, at what point it's not who, it's when. And I think that's what a lot of people fail to realize. That's how, and again, I hold a lot of privilege in situations. So for someone with darker skin, whether it be male or female, doesn't have the luxury of not being nervous, not being scared in certain situations, not being on defense in certain situations. And it frustrates me because I don't know how to fix it. I'm one of those people, I want to fix it. Let's fix it so this doesn't keep happening, so we don't keep losing our men, our women, our children. And it's frustrating because I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah, I feel that. And then, so yeah, that's true. Eyes of the Wolf, 777. We see, like, I think it was earlier this year, this young Black girl that got thrown to the ground by a grown man, an officer. You know what I'm saying? We saw that. So it does happen in school too. That's one of the bills I'm trying to pass in my own state, is removing SROs, but I'm gonna try to, stay a course because I will lose track. You know what I'm saying? So Breonna Taylor happens. There's no video for that and everything like that. But then we see Ahmaud Arbery. We see like the actual video. Though this happened back in February, the people that killed him, and in my opinion, dude that recorded the camera, he killed him too. I'm sorry to say it like that. I'm not sorry to say it like that, because you watched it happen. You know what I'm saying? You're a participating party in that case. But we touched on a little bit about how, Black men, and you being a Black mother of Black young Black men in your house, obviously because the pigmentation relation that you felt with that in this form, with this PTSD we have as a people. But what did you feel as a mother seeing like what happened to Ahmaud Arbery? Like, did you have conversations with your kids? What happened with that for you?
Well, with that in particularly, I'm gonna be honest, nothing, because the conversations that would have come from that we've had plenty of times before that. So, you get to a point and you see things happen. So when this happened, I will tell you what bothered me as much too is when the footage came out. It's always as if people who try to justify certain actions, to say these are not killings, these are not murders, they want to constantly show it as their defense. So the fact that the Black community has to live through this action being traumatic, they have to constantly watch it be played over and over whether it's on the news or social media. For me, that is the frustrating part of the whole scenario, not the action, but the effects from it. It's like the Black community constantly has to relive these actions over and over because there is no, I don't know if I want to say sympathy to not publicize Black trauma over and over and over again.
Yeah, because it's that it's this weird sensationalizing of our trauma, you know what I'm saying? That's why I get mad. Like, I'll talk about this a little bit later, but like when we're talking about like this specific case, but like, and you said that these conversations happen all the time. So like for me, I touched on how, you know, I learned what my Blackness meant. I realized what dark on skin o'clock meant for me as a kid, which means, you know, unfortunately, like I had to stop being a kid when I was a kid. What was that like for you as a mother, having to do, you said these conversations are always happening in the home. What was that like for you, having to break your kid's heart essentially and tell them like, look, you're not a regular kid, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? You're muted. You're
well, good. I know I was trying to form my thoughts together.
Good.
It wasn't like they were sit down conversations all the time. It's just, it was nothing. There was no heartbreaking sit down heart to heart because that's what you've always had to teach them. Just in the way you raise them. Mm-hmm. It's built into the way we raise our children. You know, how to act with the law, how to just anything. Because at this point, it's all they want is a reason. So they were common conversations. So there was no like sit down heart to heart. Oh my God, Mom, I'm different. We've always had them. It's instilled in them because of how I raised them.
Yeah, I feel that. So, and I don't know if you ever seen this show by chance, but this kind of comes to mind as you were saying that. So I don't know if you ever seen the show. I think it's on it's on CW. All American, you know, like the movie about you ever seen All American? Oh, it's dope. You're gonna have to. I think it's on Netflix. You'll definitely have to check it out. But there's a show on CW called All American. It's based out of like California, where I think the main character's name is Spencer. And it's about like, you know, he's trying to make it to the NFL. You know, he's a wide receiver and everything like that. But there's this one moment where Spencer, you know, he gets in the car with his quarterback on this team at the time named Jason. Now, Jason is, I think it's Billy, the coach. Billy, I can't remember his last name right now, but Billy had a kid with this white woman. You know what I'm saying? So you know I'm going with this. So yeah, he had a kid with this white woman, and you know, I mean, he's still black at the end of the day. A little bit of chocolate. This is the same thing I tell you all the time. A little bit of chocolate syrup and vanilla ice cream is chocolate ice cream at that point. But you know, he's obviously lighter. He not so much. We'll say that he has Eurocentric features compared to like Spencer's has more Afrocentric features and everything like that. So there's this one instance and circumstance in the show where he gets pulled over. Like he gets pulled over, and a cop obviously rolls up on the to the side of his car, and Jason does not know how to act. So he's not like acting like a jackass or anything like that, but he's like, all right, officer, what's the problem? Like, I'm telling you, you have to watch it. Like, I was screaming at the show when this was happening because he was just like, oh, officer, like, what's going on? First off, he just like tried to stand up, I think it was, when he got pulled over, and like other stuff that like us knowing what time it is, we're like, ugh, like, hey, baby boy, what are you doing? And he gets slammed to, I think, like the hood of the car or like the hood, the street and everything. And then, you know, Spencer witnesses all this. He's like, dude, be cool. He's like, I got this. Like, my mom's rich. My mom's a lawyer. My dad used to be in the NFL. I got this. None of that stopped that from happening, obviously. But one of the questions that Spencer, as Billy, his coach, Jason's dad, when he first saw him again after all this happened, he immediately went to him. He didn't go to Jason because he obviously recognized, like, okay, you don't know what time it is. He went right to Jason's dad and he was like, what the hell? Why didn't you teach Jason how to act around the cops? I had to learn that like, I think he said, like, I had to learn that before I learned how to ride a bike. Why didn't you teach him that? And Billy's response was, well, you know, with the lifestyle that he was able to give his kids, with, you know, him looking the way that he does. And then Spencer asked me, he said, would you have taught him differently if he looked more like me? And he said, I thought that this would never touch him. Like, and I remember you specifically touched on, like, for instance, like with, I think it was Dante Wright's mom, when she was like, I didn't think he was going to have to experience this because he's half black. But it's like, he's still perceived as full black. It don't matter half black or not, but go ahead.
I don't know if that was his mom that said that.
Oh, you don't know?
No, because what happened was it was a woman who tweeted about the Dante Wright situation. And she said that she thought, for whatever reason, because her child was half white, that she wouldn't have to worry about this. But now, knowing like Dante Wright was mixed, I know my child's not safe.
And what is that? You know what the funny thing is about that? At least what I think to myself. Because, man, when I get a kid, I mute yourself just for feedback purposes. You're fine. I know, like, for me, I don't know what it is. And you said it without saying it. It sounds like betrayal, not telling your kids and being real with your kids. Like, this is what time it is. And you need to be very self-aware of that. That's like what I thought of when you said it wasn't heartbreaking because this was culture. This was the environment that we grew up in which we taught them, like, okay, this is what this means. So if you stay ready, you don't gotta get ready. But hearing all of that, you're like, what do you think and we talked about this briefly, but like a couple of times, and this isn't like an indictment on anybody, but like, I think people need to understand the severity of this. What is the dangers of that type of mindset? You thinking because your credit score is here and you make this much money here and you live in this neighborhood here and you work at this job. What is the dangers as a parent of black children, regardless of what you look right? Because like I said, this is a black man that was like, oh, I thought he was good. I thought he was gonna be just fine. What is the dangers of not teaching not so much like trying to put fear in your kids, but not teaching your kids to be self-aware of America with 3 Ks?
Well, the part of the show that you just said is a prime example, because not teaching your child, or not at least expressing it to them to give them a chance to know, that situation could have went a whole nother way. You know, it could have went from one father having to talk to the other dad, like, hey, why didn't you? Or it could have been, you know, the boy was gone. So not teaching them is not preparing them. You can't act like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Because like what it is, it's unfortunately, and this is sad to even have to say out loud, it's wishful thinking. Whoa, it won't happen to my kid. Why? Because I've done this. It's like as if you doing everything in your blackness has anything to do with the whiteness that still was built for others' advantages and your disadvantages. That's crazy, man. And sorry to get be all heavy and stuff like that, but this is not okay. So all right. Like I said, I'm freestyling all this. I didn't know how this was gonna go, but this is good. You're loosening up a little bit. You got your twisted tea. You're doing all right. And they just over here chilling. We got people in the comment section. You got your fans over here. Are you saying hi to your folk over here? Like
over where?
We got AJ over here. We got Eyes of the Wolf.
Hi guys.
They're over here checking in on their girl and everything like that. So one more thing, you said I got my THC. Hey man, my policy is, look, this is my policy, and Eb knows my policy. I said, look, if you need, when you get on the show, just because I'm a Christian, do what you want, be responsible. You need to smoke a blizzy while you're watching or watching her on the show, smoke a blizzy. You gotta drink your wine or your twisted tea. Do that. Only policy is like, don't get naked. Like that's weird. Like, don't get naked. And if y'all that are watching this are naked, don't tell us. Like, we don't want to know. We don't want to know if you're naked. That's weird. And hide the lotion bottle. That's besides the point. But so let me circle back. I'm very unconventional. I do not apologize. But so then, like, you know, we see what happened with Ahmaud Arbery. She said, "I be chain. You do be chain smoking. You a chimney, Jess. My God." But oh man. So Memorial Day happens, and you said not sneked. Yes, people look. I had to. Never mind. We'll talk offline. Meaning, me and Eb will talk offline. Maybe we'll hop on live or something on TikTok. I'm not doing this on YouTube. They're gonna demonetize this video. But so Memorial Day happens. George Floyd happens. You know what I'm saying? And I can definitely say that murder, that moment that is like burned in my brain forever. I will never be the same after that. It literally changed me forever. You know what I'm saying? We never talked about this. But talk a little bit about, like, first off, I mean, like, if you've seen the video. I'm not going to assume you did, but okay, you did. Talk about like that day. Like, if you can remember like everything, about that day, like talk a little bit about that day and then seeing that, like, what happened.
So
take your time.
Not that everything else wasn't just as bad, but that was definitely a rough one. We literally sat here and watched him carelessly and purposefully kill somebody. I've seen people be shot before and, you know, stuff like that. But the way in which he did it, it was more malicious than any gunshot ever.
Yeah, because it was what it was like, and it sounds terrible to say this once again. It's like, it's the mercy is the quickness of a bullet. We saw somebody slowly get lynched. You know what I'm saying? Like, and everybody saw it. Like AJ said, how could you not watch it? It was but the fact that, like, the Amish heard about it, like, these niggas don't even got buttons on their jeans. Yeah, well, they don't even have jeans if I'm not mistaken. But like, everybody saw it, and then, like, I think it was the fact that it was so slow. It was like, as you said, it was probably the most evil thing I've ever seen. Like, I've seen Mortal Kombat fatalities quicker than that, but I'm gonna have you continue your point. Go ahead.
Well, no, that was that was just it. It was, he literally just sat there. People, no matter what anybody said, no matter what George Floyd said, he just sat there, hands in his pocket, looking around like, I know I'm about to get off of this. It's basically what it was to me.
Yeah, that was it was crazy. Like, I think in a lot of ways, and so I say this all the time, and you watch this, you watch my podcast. This, I think it was I want to say it was Tuesday, or I think it was on a Monday. I was pissed off. You know what I'm talking about. I pretty much just said, I do not have space for a white person that is not anti-racist, and I have no space for coonery in my life. Talk to me a little bit about, like, that moment, and like, when, like I said, because I know you to be super intolerant. You have your boundaries are like, these are my boundaries. If you come against my boundaries, I'm coming for your baby hairs. You know what I'm saying? Tell us about, like, what you had to, when I say, like, you had to do, Tell me about what you had to have in place, like as far as things that you allow, whether it's people, activities, conversations that you started to have since that moment. Things you've had to do for yourself to protect not only your family, but then like your mental health at the same time.
So this happened right around the time I went back to work. And the aftermath of that was really realizing how powerful my cutoff game is. Because in the midst of the protest and, Confederate monuments being destroyed and whatnot, I came across people at work who I genuinely thought were great people until this happened. And you would hear them talk about, just so upset that the monuments were destroyed or being removed or vandalized, but not mad at what got us here.
Ain't that stupid?
Like, really think about it? I'm the type of person, when something is happening, I try to put myself in it. If it's not something that directly affects me or the Black community or who I am, right? I try to put myself in it. Or say if it was my child, step outside of it not happening to me so it doesn't matter, right? And I think white people don't do that. I feel like for them to sit here, and I will say if there was a couple of Black people who felt the same, who I understand, but I mean, those monuments have been there for years and stupid things like that. And I mean, just so adamant on how important these were to history.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Okay. So like, this is my take on when people are like, oh, it's history. If we don't have it, we're never going to like, huh? What you got for me?
Because you know what I hear a lot, or has been like the excuse for a lot of people lately, when we bring up things that happened during like civil rights movement or slavery. It's so long ago, and we should get over it because none of that is affects now. But you want us to remember 9/11, and you want us to remember Pearl Harbor, and you think we can talk about what's going on right now and not mention history? Like, the amount of ignorance it has to take for that to be.
Not even that. I mean, Ed, when we started this podcast, you were just talking about how somebody burned a cross in your front lawn. Like, you did. Oh, it was so long. Like, the freaking KKK was in my sister's front yard, and y'all talk about it really wasn't that long ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, but my pushback every time, because you know me, look, I'm a Christian. I am not a church person. So like when people tell me all the time, oh, it's part of our history. If we don't have these figures, how are we going to learn about our history? And my rebuttal is the devil is a part of the church's history. Y'all telling me y'all want a statue of Satan in front of the altar? Meh. I mean, say somebody beat you up or mugged you in your life. You want a statue of them in your living room? Hey, this happened. You never want to forget that. I'm just saying. No, you can switch that with anything else, and it's like anything that's terrible has ever happened. You want a statue of them in your house? Like, stupid. Go ahead. I'm getting frustrated.
No, I made a TikTok about it one time too. I use the example of if your great grandmother was sexually assaulted, went into a depression, lost all the family's money, hence putting, your grandmother, your mother, father into debt, and just changed the whole course of history for your family. Yet the man who sexually assaulted her was a statue that's in front of the courthouse. That's the impact these monuments have. They feel that it's just, he's a whatever soldier, whatever, whoever the hell these people are. And you don't realize that these people caused or were a part of a cause that affects so many people still today. Don't nobody want to see that shit all the time. And for someone to sit here and say that that is more important than the loss of a human life or the value of a human life really took about the last inch of hope I had for people.
Yeah, because it's and you, I think you and me talked about this. And I'm not going to quote you word for word. If you want to use your words word for word, that's fine. And because your energy, I'm going to have you look, I love you for who you are, not who you pretend to be. You already know that. But I remember when you said, look, I'm not for looting, but if it was my kid, if you want to, if you want to share with Black America and white America.
So this is my rationale for saying that. I feel like anything done that could be conceived as negative, that spawns from a legitimate purpose, is all the white man needs to know or grab onto to discredit the whole thing. So that's why I say that. But I'm also the one who said that if it was my child, I would have been the one going to court because Chauvin ass would be dead. And I said what I said. Because I have, there's nothing that you can say to me about looting or anything like that, and I'm going to say it's wrong. I'm not going to say it's wrong. What I am going to say is sometimes we just got to be mindful about how it's going to be perceived. Because as you can see, what did the media turn it into? Looting and rioting. It lost value to so many people because that's all they needed was that piece of something to say, you know, that's what Black people do kind of thing, not knowing that it's been proven that the majority of the people who started the looting and the rioting were white, but you know, they don't want to hear that.
93% of the protests last year were peaceful and non-violent. 97, I mean, that means 7% of it was violent. Mm-hmm. And what they don't even factor, it's like, oh, they got violent. It's like, okay, are you zooming in and seeking the nuance to how these violent protests started? Like when they went from non-violent to violent, you know what I'm saying?
They didn't start violently.
No. I don't know if I told you, the first time I hit the streets, there was a dude driving around, no cap. There was a dude that was driving around leaving rocks, stones, and glass bottles in boxes around like the city in which I was protesting at. And I'm like, oh, y'all think we dumb. Like y'all, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I always tell people, and I'm like you, like, you know, y'all see my name on here, Kid Casper, MrLeadWithLove, you feel me? Like, look, 1 Corinthians 16:14, you know, do everything in love, let everything you do be done in love. Jesus flipped tables. You're not going to tell me, that in some instances, and I'm not, and mind you, I'm not advocating for it because I think we all have a role to play when it comes to this civil rights movement, civil rights, like righteous race, whatever it is. We all have a role. You know what I'm saying? Not my calling, but you're not going to sit here and tell me it's not okay to loot and burn things down. But then 90% of the people that habitated Turtle Island, not America, Turtle Island, are wiped out because of America's ideology. Y'all ain't got nothing to say about that.
They never do. They just say what they want to say, you know. Hence why we learn, you know, Christopher Columbus and celebrating Thanksgiving and shit like that, because they teach it how they want us to think it was, but we're not dumb. So when we say, you know, those of us who have taken time to actually learn outside of what we learn in public schools, when we say these things, they feel they have a leg to stand on because it wasn't taught to them in that setting. It wasn't taught as truth.
Yeah, it's essentially like when, like, just like how I corrected myself when I said, like Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery died. It's like, no, they didn't die. They were killed. People die all the time. People are killed, but that's not because of the person. Like, you know what I'm saying? it's just that's how dangerous. Like, I don't think people understand when we're talking about whiteness. Like, they will use certain things that are so small, but that could change the whole narrative for their benefit. So that's just, yeah. What'd Jess say? Put a pretty little bow on a massacre and told us to school to celebrate. Man, I'm gonna tell you what Jay-Z said on the Magna Carta album. Only Christopher we acknowledge is Wallace. I don't got time for that. You understand me? Like, not one bit. So speaking, and this would be funny, because then once again, you and me never talked about this. Speaking of looting, and this is where I coined the term. I didn't coin it. I really should, because a lot of y'all be biting my phrases out here. I'm not gonna mention any names, Jess. A lot of y'all be biting me a lot out here. You do. I catch you on live, and I'm like, hey yo, first off, I need to check. Anyway, so January 6th, right? Election's over. Biden won. Yay. You know what I'm saying? First off, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. There is two wings on the same bird that will on you. At the end of the day, I'm politically agnostic. I don't got time for all that. But so January 6th happens. I don't know why I'm laughing about it. Okay. Well, actually, I do know why I'm laughing about it, because talk to me about that day for you. You go, and I'll add a rebuttal to it. Go ahead.
I it's
just oh my God. Go ahead. Take your time, queen.
I'm sorry. I laugh now because if you can't look at the privilege and entitlement that went into that whole, and I air quoted, protest, or whatever they thought, it was an insurrection, but whatever thought they were doing, I don't know how else to explain it. However many white Americans can just walk on up in here like nothing. And how many fatalities were there? A couple that they caused, pretty much, but the rest of them was safe except the one lady.
You know what made me so mad? Let's talk about that for a second. So we just talked about how, Sandra Bland, Atiana Jefferson, Breonna Taylor, the hashtag say her name, literally was started because of trying to raise awareness for Black women being brutalized by the police. I don't know if you saw this, but man, they were saying, say her name.
For Ashley Babbitt?
Yes. You didn't see it?
What? See, this is okay. So this is where I say it all the time. It's comical at this point. So you have Black Lives Matter come out as a movement and as an organization, and hence they have All Lives Matter, right? And Blue Lives Matter and Back the Blue and all that shit. Then they want to attach themselves to
Wait. What the fuck?
It was the fat people in their scooter chairs for me. AJ, what are you talking about? I
need video. I need video of this right now. Jess, if you could, because I know Jess is in here watching it. Jess, if you can find video and text it to me, we will literally watch it together. I haven't seen it, but I need to see it. What in the hell?
It sounds epic.
Oh God. What the... Go ahead, Em.
I don't even remember what I was saying.
Okay. So we were talking about woo! What in the? It was she said it was the people in the scooter chairs. Yeah, back to blue. All lives matter. All that stuff. That's what
yes.
About.
It's I don't know. And I'm going to say this, and this is probably why I get the question all the time. Why do you hate white people? But I don't. I never said that. The white people who like me understand that when I say things like I'm about to say, that if you are not that person, I'm not talking to you. But I give that to say this. White people are the most uncreative bunch of people I've ever met in my life. And I say that while they're trying to prove a point and adding the Babbitt lady, want to say her name, it does nothing but make them look like they're worse than we already knew they were. There is no difference. I mean, there's a clear difference in why there is a statement. for Say Her Name. It's almost like I don't even know how to explain it. Like, sometimes the amount of ignorance baffles the fuck out of me. Like, she was a part of an insurrection. She stormed the Capitol. Like, you're adding her to a list of names to Black women who did nothing that warranted a death sentence. But homegirl stormed the Capitol.
Yeah, and got pimp slapped by a bullet.
And and Say Her Name. No, what? You're smoking crack. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, like she got pimp slapped by a bullet. I'm sorry. Like, it's just look, man, because I don't know if you saw like the ABC special that they have on Hulu by chance, where she was at like they were like, you didn't see the actual video of her like getting shot. So she was like,
I did see it.
She was at the front. You know that song, "Who's That Peeping in My Window"? They did that on TikTok. Somebody did that on TikTok, and then they saw her go yeet. I was like, I mean, whoops.
All right, so let me say this. I made a video on TikTok about this, and it got on the wrong side of TikTok, I believe. But what I said was, I'm not big on making fun of people's deaths, regardless of what it is. And I only say that because they have family who is not as ignorant as they are, and my heart goes out to them. You know what I mean? But
absolutely. I mean, we're talking about this from like months down the line. But like,
but what I say that to say this. Some of the memes I saw were fucking hilarious because you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. What did you think was going to happen when you stormed the Capitol? You literally thought in your white head, your white brain, that my entire
if you don't comply, you won't. If you don't comply, if you comply, you won't die. Like, it just.
I can't.
Oh my goodness, I can't. Yeah. So, all right. So like that happened. There's powdered mayonnaise everywhere. Apparently, there's fat people on scooters. Yeah, I call it powdered mayonnaise. Do you understand me? There's powdered mayonnaise everywhere. Some lady got maced in the face, as she should have. You know what I'm saying? There's Braveheart's cousin that for some odd reason is just like knucking if you could buck in the damn like conference room or whatever it was. It was crazy. And like all of Black America is just sitting back like, I don't know about you. I was like, wait, what's happening? Black America, stand down and stand by. And I just like, I went back to sleep. Like I was like, for what? Like, what can I do? Like, we prayed. Don't get it twisted. Like, we had a prayer meeting and everything. We were just like, after that prayer meeting, though, we were like, man, they would have, like, I don't know if I told you this, I was in DC after George Floyd got killed. And bro, I left like an hour before the people got tear gassed from the church. I'm like, man, they would have painted the steps with us, dog. Like, and y'all talk about say her name. I can't.
I just feel like they knew this was going to happen. If I heard about something was going to happen through social media, you know, these people up there in DC knew something was going to happen, right? Yet, where was like all the support? You know, the ones that the protests get to prevent, you know, any problems. Where were they at? These people walked in. There were spaces that they literally, while they were trying to go through doors in like a mob, there were spaces that people literally walked in. They walked in.
Man, they opened the doors for them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, it was absolutely not. I was sitting there like, when I was watching this, I was like, this looks like it looked like you ever seen like a movie on bootleg before? Like you just
Yes.
and you're just like, I don't think that's supposed to be here. Like, there's cables out here. There's trap doors. The CGI is glitching and everything like that. Like, that's what it looked like. I was like, yo, are the cops moving the gates? What in the hell is happening right here? What's happening? What's happening? Like, that dude. Yeah, we wouldn't even made it to the steps.
No, we wouldn't have made it on the street.
And I'm scared that there's a Juneteenth party in DC, like a 2-day thing. I might be staying there overnight. I don't know if I'm going to that, just because it's like, man, they gonna see all this black folk up here. They could be like, man, you saw what the white people did? What the niggas gonna do out there? Like, I'm like, I don't know, but I ain't gonna keep blowing powdered mayonnaise all over the place and making people upset. I'm gonna be nice. Oh, you like that over there? You can't breathe, huh? You just
That's literally hilarious when you say that.
powdered mayonnaise. Yeah, white fragility. I call it powdered mayonnaise. You know what I'm saying? White fragility threatens black stability. Period. That's it. So this is I'm trying to think of the next thing. Oh, so all this is happening. And I know, and we've talked about this, and I've heard you say this many times on your content. We're not fans of this. We're not fans of this woman. I mean, she's incarcerated so many black men and everything like that. But Kamala Harris, she's elected as VP of the United States. And I really, once again, you know me, I don't freestyle any of these, but talk to me about like that moment for you. I mean, like you lived to see like an Obama, but then to see like a black woman to be in a position in office. I think you said you have, what do you call them? What do you and Jess call these babies? Your extra child. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk to me a little bit about, like, once again, not fans of her, everything like that, but talk to me about like what that moment was like for you, like in like you saw the impact on like either the black women or like the little black girls and everything that saw Kamala Harris being inaugurated as vice president. Like, tell us a little bit about like that impact on you.
So yeah, she's definitely not one of my favorite people, but her herself being in that position, it made me feel so good for our younger generation of girls. While she may not be the ideal person that I would have wanted in there, to have a woman of color in such a powerful position it lets our kids know that I can do anything. You know what I mean? And that in itself makes me feel like there's change somewhere. You know what I mean? Because when would this have been possible?
Yeah, because for me, it was like, I was like, I saw this one sign late last year. It was like a counter to like the Trump signs. It was like, okay, Joe Biden, but this is some bullshit. Like, I think that's what everybody was saying. But like a part of me had to like catch myself, because there were so many videos online of like little girls and their tiara. There was this, I'll have to find a video and send it to you. There was this little black girl that was like suited and booted, you know what I'm saying? Even though Michelle Obama is forever our favorite first lady, she would just, we can't even touch that, you know what I'm saying? But I saw these little queens, these princesses in, whether in tiaras and dresses, but like in like suits and stuff. And they were sitting around the table. And one of the videos that like made me cry actually was like, there's a black man with his daughter, and they're sitting at like this little like like coffee table. They're having like a tea party, and they're just watching the inauguration. A part of me had to like, I was like, man, I don't give a damn about Kamala Harris being elected, this, that, and third. But then when I saw like the impact it had on like the younger generation, I was like, man, I really need to check myself. I was like, they don't even know, but it's like, they don't have to know about all the bad parts about her, because we can appreciate her for her position, considering like what she came from. And, you know, a lot of people will try to discredit her accomplishments and say she's West Indian, even though if she was pulled over by the cops, she's blackity black, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I even want to say, even if she was not mixed with black, and let's say she was just a South Asian woman or an indigenous woman, the fact that women of color are being put in these spaces within itself is monumental. Like, would I have picked a different one? Yes. But to have kids who know nothing about her, who haven't made it that far in their journey of life to like research her prosecution record, you know what I'm saying? All they see is someone that potentially looks like them in that position.
Yeah,
and
that
amazing.
That for me, because then like I think you've seen pictures and videos of her. Like I thought about like my niece, I thought about like my many nieces, and then I even thought about like my nephews, you know what I'm saying? Because like I'm like, yo, at least some of my nephews and my nieces, they saw an Obama and a Kamala Harris. You know what I'm saying? Like not Kamala Harris being the first. Is there a first lady to the vice president? I don't know, but seeing an Obama and then seeing that, I was like, yo, don't ruin that for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll tell them Santa Claus wasn't really all that, and Saint Nick's origins were nuts. But I think like for that, it was like, let them be inspired, especially for like black women. And I don't know if you ever heard of this quote, but one of the most dangerous things about taking away from a black woman, forget trying to take away like her sexuality, meaning like telling her she doesn't own her sexuality, forget telling her that you know, that she's a B word, this, that, and the third. If you rob a black woman of her imagination, you have robbed her from her hope. You know what I'm saying? I saw that quote and I was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if Kamala Harris at some point saw, I don't know, any of these black women in power from like you know, Angie Stone, Beyonce, who apparently owns the internet, you know what I'm saying? Like all these, like Jess said it, not me. But I think like if we are so, you want me to say that again, Jess? I got you, Jess. So it's one thing to like take like a black woman's like tell her she doesn't own her sexuality and try to take that from her, try to take her humanity. Because I mean, like, you're a double minority that this country, it's designed. But if you rob a black woman of her imagination, it's one of the most destructive things you could do. And I think if we do that to our kids, even when they don't understand it, I think that would be so damaging. Because we don't know if Kamala Harris was sitting around watching any of these big black figures, whether male or female, was like, I'm going to be there one day. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's Blue Ivy's internet today. Okay. All right. That's interesting. Apparently Blue Ivy's rapping now. Did you hear that? Like,
ain't she a toddler?
She's been a toddler. It's like kind of like Beyonce. Beyonce's been 27 for like the last 10 years. Like,
she's not that much younger than me. I'll just say that.
Yeah, we knew that already, but that's besides the point. Not you. It's just I feel like Beyonce's got to be 50. Like
literally, there's a whole conspiracy theory going around about her age and whatnot. So that's why I said I was just joking.
Okay, you better chill. This is Beyonce's internet. The beehive gonna come for you. You gonna see your numbers dwindle down. You know, TikTok keep coming for B. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's funny. Yeah, we knew that already. Look, I said the same thing about Obama. I already said that about Obama. I was like, we never would have gotten a dark skinned president. We wanted Kelly Rowland, but we got Beyonce. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. I mean, not really, but we'll take yeah. That's funny. This kind of brings up something interesting enough that you were going to talk about this evening, before I decided to send you a text. So on the subject of like blackness and everything like that, there seems to be this weird uptick in like gatekeeping within like the black community, where if you aren't like, when I say, and I've even heard people use this terminology, if you're not a thoroughbred black person, I'm like, nigga, I'm not a horse. You know what I'm saying? This like huge uptick in gatekeeping in the black community, where they say, if you're not all the way black, you're not black. Or if you are black and you date outside your race, yeah, AJ, you might want to watch your mouth. But if you know what I'm saying, like there's this weird like, and if you think if it's happening on TikTok, you know what I'm saying, it's probably the most influential like social media platform. If it's happening there, it's probably happening in these conversations, which is why like you were about to be a part of this panel. But what is it about people in our community? It's like I guess the better question is asked, what is your stance? Because I don't think not live, but we've talked about this until 4 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? What you are. So we talked about earlier how you were never allowed to be white, but for some odd reason, people are trying to tell you aren't black. Do you want to talk a little bit about that this evening, my sister?
Sure.
The screen is yours.
Why not? I actually talk about this a lot because, for one, I find it extremely mad effing weird when people spend more time trying to tell me that I'm not black enough for them instead of let's talk about something that is more important. But that does lead into the gatekeeping. And I always tell people that I understand wholeheartedly why there are some black people who don't consider me black. You know, they give you the whole, you're not black, you're mixed. I understand where that comes from in a lot of cases.
Mixed with what?
Well, here's the thing. And somebody even said it on my post today when someone was like, you know, you're not black, you're mixed. And they said, well, if she wasn't black, she wouldn't be mixed then. So like, you can't say she's not black. But they say
hold on, Queen. Somebody
is the dash.
No, somebody's sleeping in the Dash is over there. Show somebody's sleeping in the church. I need to wake up. Can you say that again? Somebody was wiping the crust out of their eyes. Like he's still asleep. So let me hit him with the left shoe.
What's going on?
Let me hit him with the left shoe. Got the lights. Let me throw the lights on to like wake this brother up real quick. Can you say that one more time for beloved back at church? He's sleeping, wiping the crust out of his eyes, picking his wedgie. Say that again one more time for the folk in the back.
Look, I forgot exactly how I worded it now. You're going to have to repeat it for me because, you know, my mind is short.
My bad.
I know what I said, but what... Now I can't think of the words to save my life because I feel on the spot.
You were saying you're not black, you're mixed. And somebody was like, if she wasn't black, then she wouldn't be mixed. I think that's what it was. But yeah.
Someone left that
better when you said it.
Look, and the thing is, it was funny because I had myself had every other explanation in the book for why I was black, right? But when they said that in my comments today, I was like, if that isn't the most simplest way to break that shit down, because it is. Excuse me, but back to the gatekeeping portion. I understand why there are some black people who don't think I'm black. And I respect that reasoning. But I have also grown so comfortable in myself that their opinion of me does not matter. The only time it comes in to being an issue for me is if we're having a conversation about something that's of importance. But the only thing you can focus on is about how I'm not black enough for you. We're not on the same level because we're not worried about the same thing.
Yeah, because then it's like we're talking about white supremacy. Guys, we need to address white supremacy. I don't think you're qualified.
Yeah, I get I've gotten that my whole life. And then getting on TikTok, it's been worse. I literally made, and I'll give you an example. I get it from white people all the time, right? But when it comes, like the racist aspect of it, but when it comes to me not being black enough for black people, I'll be, for instance, I did a video, and it was about what happened in Fairfax, Virginia with the firefighter who was sentenced to jail time for 20 months because a police officer set him up. Come to find out the police officer has done this over 400 times in Fairfax. And the first thing I got, no, it wasn't the first, but in the midst of them, it was a comment that said, you reporting about police brutality against the Black community is like the slave master's wife complaining about the mistreatment of slaves.
Mm-hmm. So, you saw what Aunt Tamisha said though, right? She said Ebony is Black.
But like, I'll get those comments, and it's like, not once in this video did I talk about my race, what I identified as, or anything. I'm bringing you a news update, and of course, sprinkling my opinion in there. And the only thing you can focus on is how I'm not Black enough for you. We're not on the same level because we're not worried about the same thing. So you can go into your corner, fight the fight over there, and I'm going to do my thing over here. Because I feel like I know I'm Black, but I also know that I am not fully Black. Therefore, I should not occupy spaces that are meant for Black women or Black people in general.
Ebony, you're Black.
And I understand that, but I also understand how the world works. I know how white society sees me, and I know why Black society sees me the way they do as well.
Ebony, if you break a law right now, what is the police blotter going to say?
It's going to say Black. But understand, I tell people this all the time. Where I live at now in the county that I grew up in, I'm Black. But I do understand when I go other places, I have privilege. And it's not because
do you think that it's more of a, now my question is, do you think that's more of a shadeism thing? Not really like a genealogy thing. Do you think that's a shadeism thing?
So I say it like this. I always say I've never been white to white people. But in saying that, I also understand that some white people don't know I'm half Black. I get Puerto Rican a lot. I get stuff like that. And I will tell you, this is where the privilege comes in, because a person can be racist as damn hell, right? But within that racism still lies a different level of disgust for people. So if they think I'm mixed with white and Hispanic, okay, they still might treat me differently than if they thought I was white and Black. But in either situation, I've never been white. I've always been something. Because I think they think that once you're a racist, you treat all the races you dislike the same, and that's not it.
That's interesting. So like, and I think like the reason I brought up the shadeism part is like, so Malcolm X is mixed.
Well, let's break that down. What is your definition of mixed?
He has, I think his mom was half white, if I'm not mistaken, genealogy wise.
Okay, so but let's think about this. My children aren't mixed.
I know that.
So that's why Malcolm X maneuvered the way he did, because he was Black.
But Frederick Douglass was mixed.
Yeah, but Frederick Douglass was Black. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Angie, you see where I'm going with this.
I know exactly where you're going, but I'm telling you what society saw. Yeah, they was mixed, but they saw Black people. Black society saw Black people.
J. Cole is mixed.
Black society sees a Black man.
Drake, even though he's weird. When I say weird, he's just different.
They bring up him being mixed because he's half white. I mean, they bring him up. His weirdness comes from him being half white. But
that's why I say it's a shit. But I say that like I think the genealogy is more important when I say like you're Black. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I mean, like, man, Obama wore a brown suit. They dragged that man through the mud, boy. What you talking about? Like, but like when I say this though, is like we're talking about this, is like I'm one of those people. Look, I just don't have space for bigoted or non-anti-racist, people in my life. So when I say this, like, all skin folk ain't your kinfolk. I mean, you've been on a panel on my podcast a couple times. I've had a brother darker than Ace of Spades on this mug before. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we see that you can assimilate to white supremacy regardless of what you look like.
Absolutely.
So why does the shade matter so much. Like, that's why I say this is like,
Oh,
why are we part? I say, like, why are we, when I say this, like, and this is me, this isn't you speaking, this is me speaking. I think that we're spending more time discussing, or better yet, just policing everybody's blackness. You end up, or better yet, I'll use this proverb. It's an African proverb. A child that is not embraced by a village will burn it down to feel its warmth. I feel like what we end up doing when we're policing each other on their blackness, we end up creating these Candace Owens. We end up creating these, I dare to say, Baptists. We end up creating these Hodge twins. We end up, this is my podcast. We end up, this is my podcast. We end up creating, but hear me out though. And I think that this is dangerous when we're talking about people policing each other's blacknesses, is like we end up creating these people feeling like they're not wanted. And then what are they going to do? They're going to go stay on the plantation after slavery ends. And then what I call black on black crime is that they assimilate to whiteness and white supremacy, and then they are used as weapons to afflict and hurt our community. So I just think it's very, I think it's
you right there.
Go ahead.
Because you said something. And I'm going to speak in regards to why there's gatekeeping when it comes to mixed people, because you just kind of said it yourself in a way. So throughout history, you know, I dare to say our role has like repositioned. So while you mentioned people like Malcolm X or Frederick Douglass and, you know, people in history who are also mixed technically, you've also had the opposite of those people too. The mixed people who pick and choose today or pick and chose then when it was convenient to be black. And see, for me, I understand it because you can't just turn being black off because it's your lighter skin. You know, for us lighter skin mixed people is more convenient for white people in that moment. You that is not, there's no way that you can do that. So when black people gatekeep from mixed people, I get it. We see it. I mean, I'm not going to name no names, but there's a creator on TikTok. I can't stand her ass. And she's mixed and she's more black presenting. Constantly has braids and stuff in her hair, but then talks this conservative white supremacist bullshit. And that's why they look at me the way they do. Because of bitches like her. So I understand, you know, the whole part of history where mixed people were bred to be spies. Like I know all of this, so I understand. But I had to within myself get so comfortable that doesn't mean I'm less black to myself, because I know what I went through. I know who I am. But I'm also, I can have conversations about this with people who don't think I am, respectfully. But I'm also 42 years old. You're not going to disrespect me. So that's where the problem comes in. You can have your opinion, but then you want to start getting, you know, being smart about it. Then we can have dialogue, you know, but I understand it. And I just had to be so comfortable in myself that you not thinking I'm black or I'm not black enough for you does not mean that I'm not. But not, you know, a lot of mixed people have got there yet. So I know what my purpose is. And my purpose can't be derailed by people who can't listen to me because I'm not black enough to them.
So you just said something that was super dangerous. And this is a thought, not that I'm not saying you're wrong by any means, but you just said something that's kind of super dangerous about policing people's blackness and stuff. If we're going to hold, like I said, if we're going to hold a whole people, and like let's say mix is a race for it. Let's play devil's advocate just for a second. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
look, please don't ever say that again.
Do you trust me? Do you trust me?
I'm gonna see where you're going with this.
Okay, so if we want to go as far to say that mix is a race and hold everybody to the standard of the worst common denominator, okay, how is that any differently than how white people perceive us when the worst common denominator in our community is the fringe example of dangerous and a threat?
Well,
how's that any different?
Yeah, I wasn't
This
prepared.
is just me. This is this is me speaking for me. This is just me speaking now for everybody that now, because you got a big following. So I got you, big sis. This is me. My blackness is my blackness. You can't police my blackness. I don't got time for that. I'm going after white supremacy. I'm not about to argue with people Harriet Tubman would have shot. I'm just gonna say it just like that, because at the end of the day, the goal is to abolish, reform, and reprogram the system that got their knee on my necks. We can deal with the roster cuts and everything afterwards. I don't care if you're the 15th man on the bench or the starter. If you want to help me get this knee off my neck, that's what it is. But I think when we spend more time talking about the shadeism and tripping up over that more than we're putting forth the energy to abolish white supremacy, I just think that it's exerting stupid energy in the wrong places. That's just me. I'm speaking for myself.
I do completely understand that. And I feel similar. But I also know that the way I look plays a major role. If I say something that...
But I say this, Ebony, is like, I just don't think that you should demonize yourself for how other people have acted. Because even when I say this for our accomplices, we don't want them adopting white guilt. We want them adopting white accountability and white responsibility, understanding like their privilege. And I think you are a very self-aware... I'm not going to call you old. I'm going to call you seasoned. You know what I'm saying? You got a little bit of flavor on you. You know what I'm saying? You seasoned. Yeah, I got you, sis. But I think you're that self-aware in yourself, in which that if you thought you were stepping out of line, and even if you weren't, you didn't know you were, I think you would be very quick to correct and rectify that behavior.
Absolutely.
So I just don't think that you should take on the burden and the guilt of being what you look like, knowing that for your whole life it was never okay, even as a standard with a white mother, to assimilate to that. That's just all. That if I can say anything to you.
And I appreciate, that thought.
If I hear a butt, I'm going to snatch your baby.
I was trying to think of how to say it without saying butts. Like however, maybe. No, but
however, comma. Go ahead.
Yeah, however, comma. Like, I understand what you're saying, and I get it. But I also know, for me, I'm not just vocal on TikTok. Like I do things outside of TikTok too. So I know how it is to have to alter your role in the fight in certain circumstances, because it's not my place to be in that particular role. I can still be here doing whatever I need to do, play my role, but it's not always going to be the mouthpiece. It's not always going to be, and I'm fine with that, because every role is important. But I also know that in doing so, I kind of adjust myself sometimes, because I know if there's someone who does not think, oh my gosh, she ain't black, she ain't had the black experience, First of all, you can't tell me what I've gone through. But if we have to work together to make something productive happen for the same fight, I can tone myself down, because at the end of the day, the goal is more important. But I'm also not going to be disrespected. So, like, if that makes sense, like, if we can work together, get it done, you ain't got to think I'm black. I don't give a shit. But the end goal is the most important, because I'm going to still be my black anyway, whether they think it or not.
That's why, and I say this even as myself as a Christian, when I, consider these matters, is I'm more concerned about winning the soul than the argument. That's just where I'm at with it. It's like, man, I'm trying not to argue with people that stayed on the plantation, and I'm not about to argue with people that are punishing me because of my shade. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all. It's just dumb. In my opinion, I think it's dumb. Just mine. You You know what I'm saying? That's all.
I get it.
Because, like, as you can see, like, when my hair gets wet, even though I'm racially ambiguous, like, okay, it don't matter what bunk I would have been on, I still would have been on the ship, damn it. You're just dumb. All right, so now this will be the semi-fun, not so serious part. Time for some quick hitters. I gotta hit you with some quick hitters. So I don't know if your followers were there for this part, but for catalog purposes, we'll ask you. I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. It's gonna be some this you rather this or this, a couple of this is that and the third. Okay, this is gonna be funny. Sweet tea or Kool-Aid?
Kool-Aid.
Interesting.
Wow.
No, I just think it's interesting. I'm more of for me, I feel like you can't drink Kool-Aid with everything, but you could drink sweet tea with everything. That my personal preference.
I don't really like regular sweet tea that much.
You're right. You be getting twisted. I forgot. my bad. Okay. We were talking about this earlier. Carrie Hilson or Jasmine Sullivan?
Jasmine Sullivan.
Good answer. All right.
Most definitely.
Got it. Erykah Badu or India Ari?
Erykah.
India had some slaps though. Like
she did, but Erykah Badu as a person, her energy, I love it.
Okay. If you get this wrong, I might have to delete you out of my life forever. Dipset or Wu-Tang Clan?
Wu-Tang.
You'd be surprised.
Oh, I was about to say, are you about to say Dipset? Like,
hell no. Come on now.
Okay.
Talk to me nice or don't talk to me twice.
Like my literal, one of my favorite songs is Duck Season. So like that should tell you right there.
This is kind of funny. Oh my God. I don't know if you can get this one wrong. You'd be surprised. Queen Jess. I don't really care if you get this one wrong because I think this is preference. Omarion or Bow Wow?
Neither.
Really?
Yeah. That was a weird question though, because like there's nothing about either one of them that would make me say, oh my God, one's better than the other. You know what I mean?
I mean, they have waves of success. I think that's what it is for me.
I don't know.
See? This is a good one. Kanye West or Pharrell?
Pharrell.
I respect it. And we're not talking about commercial success. Jay-Z. Jay-Z or Lupe Fiasco? Not going off of commercial success. We're just talking about catalog of just the music.
Well, if we're just speaking on it that way, then it would be Jay-Z.
Okay.
Only in that aspect.
Got it. Solange or her?
Her.
All right. Frank Ocean or Kid Cudi?
Frank Ocean. The kids in the background said Kid Cudi. I said Frank Ocean.
Well, I mean, I think for me, I would pick Kid Cudi because I have to wait every presidential election for Frank Ocean to give me music. I'm a little upset with him, to be honest.
Why?
I'm tired of waiting 5 years.
You can relish in the classics though, the good shit, Nikes and stuff like that. Just
Nostalgia Orange, Nostalgia Ultra will forever be my favorite Frank. that mixtape was better than any of his projects.
I feel like the most recent was like better than it
was good. Blonde was good, but Nostalgia Ultra was that hit different. You know what I'm saying? Jess threw in a question: Trey Songz or Trevante Rose?
Tell her she knew good and hell well she couldn't ask me that question because listen, I have a whole entanglement with these men in my head. Like,
hey yo, hold up.
Know about it. Literally, I have a whole story. Like, there's a whole story in my head that, like, we've talked about. Like, most people, I've told them the whole story.
Black America would like to know.
Okay, so me and Trey Songz, listen, I have loved this man since, you know, I don't want to leave, but I got to go right now. Like, you know, he from down this way. Okay. And I was like, oh, well, that's my husband. That's my husband. And then saw Trevante Rose and realized I had picked the wrong man. But I was not quite ready to let go of my little infatuation with Trey Songz. So therefore, me and Trey are separated, and I am now with Trevante Rose. So this is me shooting my shot if he ever sees this. Just saying.
Are we even talking about music anymore? Or are we talking about the bodies? Like, what is?
We is just talking about the men in general. He's my husband. Because Trevante Rose is an actor. Just did that on purpose.
That's hilarious. Oh my goodness.
So entanglement.
That's just. She said, "I'm gonna send this to Trey." I can't. If you get this wrong, I can't be friends with you anymore. Tyrese or Genuine?
I don't think we can compare the two.
Eras? I think so.
You think so?
A little bit.
I think I'd say Tyrese then.
Hot take. I'm curious to hear why.
So I love Genuine, of course, because Genuine was more along my, you know, I was not coming up. I was older then. But anyway, I try to think, what could I tolerate if that's the only thing I ever had to listen to? And I would have to say that Genuine, outside of the music itself, well, no, totally the music, because he kind of stayed the same with everything. You know what I mean? There was not a lot of balance in any of his albums, like none. It was the same type of music, the same type of sound. I liked it, but Tyrese has more range, I think.
I don't know if I accept that because, like,
Jess said I had better had said Genuine. No,
I don't know if I can accept that, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie to you, like, and maybe it's me and my bias. I don't know, because I think of hits like So Anxious.
Okay.
You can't.
Yes, Tyrese has had some. Listen, now if you would have said like, no,
you can't. No. Hold on, yo. Like, no. You playing with me? You talking Pony? You could literally play Pony anywhere.
Yes, but you're not telling me that all of his songs don't follow the same, like, I don't know.
I don't care.
Beat or something. So if you had to listen out of the two for the rest of your life, one artist, just one, you gonna pick Genuine over Tyrese?
I might have to.
Oh my God. I'm gonna ask you a question then. Can I do that?
Sure, why not?
Biggie or Pac?
Biggie. I wasn't, and I'm gonna be flat out with you. Because I grew up on the East Coast. Most of my family is New York. Nobody around me listened to Pac, and I wasn't one of those people who's like, oh, Pac's one of my goats. I literally only know 3 songs by Pac. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay, so you forgive me for the Genuine comment, and I'll forgive you for the Biggie comment.
I'm not. Machine Gun Funk. That's all I gotta say.
First of all,
Machine Gun Funk. Machine Gun Funk.
Listen, I'm just disappointed right now.
Shut up. You picked Tyrese. Be quiet.
You picked Biggie.
Yeah, you don't know Skippy. Did you answer this question? I don't know if I did. Her or Solange?
Yeah, I said her.
You said her? Okay. This is a good one. And I'm kind of torn if I even want to ask you this one. Actually, no, I'm not. Just because I think she's so slept on. Marsha Ambrosius or Adele?
Marsha. All day, like without question.
I can't do Adele. She's just...
I like Adele, but Marsha definitely got her.
I don't give a damn if you're you grew up in Wisconsin. You're canceled from this conversation. Watch your mouth. All y'all have is Ja Rule. Like, if that. Like, get out my face. Oh man. Top five artists. I'm not gonna do rappers. No, actually, I'll do rappers. Top 5 rappers, East Coast and West Coast.
All right. Of all time, right? Not just current. Okay.
And they don't have to be in order either.
Okay, good. All right. So Pac definitely. J. Cole.
Well, okay. So we're doing. So I said East Coast and West Coast. So like, pick your 5 from the West Coast and pick your. Yeah.
I don't think I have 5 and 5.
Come on, you think about it. You got a little bit of mileage on you. You can pick 5 and 5. I got faith in you.
All right. So West Coast.
Okay.
YG. What is 3-6 considered? Are they East?
They're like Atlanta. Are they? Y'all ain't know they're listening to 3-6 in a minute.
Are they Atlanta? All right, so let me. Yeah. I definitely would have to say 0 too. So I don't know what is Texas?
I think that's like Midwest. So
oh my God. Can we just count that as a West Coast one?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. So 0, YG.
And Tennessee, they're Tennessee. 3-6 Mafia is Tennessee, so West
Tennessee.
Coast.
Okay, West. All right, so 3-6, YG, 0. Damn. I don't know. I'm stuck. So what is Chicago considered? Like what would we consider that?
In the NBA, they're East Coast.
Okay, so I'll save that one. Damn, I told you I don't think I have this many off the top of my head.
I told you I freestyle these.
What am I doing? Okay, so this is a difficult question.
So you're more nervous. I've noticed that you're more nervous about this portion of the interview than everything else. That's hilarious. Continue.
It is. Yeah, I was not prepared for this question because I should know, but I do not. I don't think I can do 5 and 5.
Wow. You couldn't say E40, Snoop Dogg. You couldn't like, wow, Too Short. Like, wow. There's not a lot of West Coast. You couldn't say Kendrick. You couldn't say The Game. You couldn't say.
I did say The Game. I thought I did. Well, I was thinking it.
You couldn't say Kendrick?
No, Kendrick's cool, but no.
Wow.
Kendrick is dope, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I've heard a lot of other rappers that have more talent than him, that aren't very well known. To Pimp a Butterfly, Mad City, Section 8, and Damn. I'm gonna be honest. I like Damn, but Loyalty was probably my favorite by him. But Loyalty.
Give me your East Coast. I'm done with you.
East Coast. I do like Biggie. He wouldn't be in like my top 5 if it was just the top 5. But if we're doing 5 from East Coast, so he would be.
That.
You know what I mean?
Respect that.
So he'd be one. Keith Murray.
Okay.
KRS One, who I think is one of the greatest lyricists ever.
Okay.
Damn, this is like the easiest question in the world, but I'm struggling. Where's J. Cole at? He would be East, right?
Yeah, he's North Carolina boy. Yep.
Yeah. East, so definitely he would be in my top 5 too.
Okay.
That's 4, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't think of a 5th one.
Yeah, NWA is West. AJ.
Yeah, NWA is West. That I did know.
You can't think of a 5th one. There's not like a Jay-Z. There's not like a Lupe Fiasco. There's not like a. You can't even pick the Methods, the RZAs, the Rakims, the Ghost Faces.
I honestly, I would have to say Wu-Tang as a collective. Like I couldn't just say one.
Well, you could. I mean, I don't know.
So if I had to pick out of all of them, RZA.
You said not Jay-Z. AJ, I might ban you from the stream.
I'm not a huge Jay-Z fan either.
But I
like him, but
terrible.
Oh, T.I.
You said T.I. before Jay-Z. Okay. I'm gonna move on before I hurt you.
I'm gonna tell you why I think Jay-Z just used his music to get where he wanted to be business-wise, which is not the problem. But the problem is he has so many commercial things that you get lost in it. Why I do.
Yeah.
No, disagree?
Jay-Z said, I be needing this dough. You can't touch lyricist wise, I be needing this dough. You can't, I'm sorry.
He also said one of my favorite quotes, like, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Like, but
this man
lyrically,
yes.
All right, lyrical wise, Jay-Z or Eminem?
Okay, lyrically, Eminem. Songwriting, Jay-Z all day. I think Eminem is an amazing lyricist. I think Eminem is an amazing lyricist, but he sucks at writing songs.
Absolutely. I can totally get with that.
I can listen to No Ceilings by Lil Wayne all day, every day before I listen to a whole Eminem album back to back to back. I can't do it. And
see, Lil Wayne's another one who used to be like top something with me, but now it's like, no. I look back
he's got 4 locks in his head that look like Cheetos, and I can't anymore. Yeah, he raps for white people now. I said what I said.
And I agree.
Let's see. Now, if you just want to vibe out, and this is for R&B, you can pick jazz, you can pick rock if you wanted to. 5 artists to do a lineup, and the only one that needs to be in order is the last one because that's the big show. 5 artists that you would love to have be as a lineup, and your last answer as far as 5 has to be the headliner for a concert. Which 5 acts would they be?
And can they be not individual artists? They can be groups.
Artists, groups. Yeah, go for it.
So first I would have Earth, Wind and Fire.
Okay.
J. Cole.
All right.
I would have Snow Allegra.
I love Snow Allegra. Oh my goodness.
Have you seen her tiny desk? Oh my God.
I love that woman. Like, Keep going.
Fire, J. Cole, Snow Allegra. I know who the fifth one is. Let me think of the fourth one. Earth, Wind, and Fire, J. Cole, Snow Allegra, Summer Walker, and Tupac.
Now, Tupac is the headliner?
Yes, if he was alive.
Okay. And yeah, everybody's still going to give me heat about this. Look, I'm not going to lie to y'all. When I say I was not a Tupac fan, I am not a Tupac consumer. Nobody around me listened to it. I grew up on Rakim, Jay-Z, Wu-Tang, Tribe, all that. I didn't know. And I'm not going to be one of those people, oh, Tupac's my GOAT, but you literally only know Brenda in California.
Well, I also think too, like my connection with him is because he wrote. So like I've read, I want to say the majority of his released work, his poetry and stuff, which once reading that and then knowing, before like the movie even came out, telling you what went on in his life, knowing about that from researching it and then hearing some of the things that are in his songs, some of the lyrics and some of the undertones of his music, you really get a strong appreciation for him as a person, not just what the media portrayed him to be.
Yeah, I have nothing against him or anything. I just, like I said, I can't say I'm a fan if I'm not a consumer. That's just me. Yeah, every time I tell myself I'm going to listen to Pac today, I just haven't gotten to it. So yeah, that's just me. And we said this on your live yesterday, but for those that weren't there for it, 5 dinner guests that you could have. I can't English today. 5 dinner guests that you could have, dead or alive, you as the 6th chair. Who would they be?
And it's funny, it's going to change from yesterday.
Really? No. All right.
Yeah. When you get a question gets asked and you just think, but then you think about it later, like, oh no, I really wouldn't want them there. I would want XYZ there. And then you're able to like kind of digest the reason why you'd want them there. I would have to say, of course, I want Danny Glover there. Danny Glover has to be there. Danny Glover has to be there. And see, I'm not even going to pick like anybody based off, I just want to meet them. You want me to say it as if I could have conversations, like meaningful conversations with these people. Okay. So Danny Glover, definitely. Okay. So many questions I could ask that man. I still would have Sylvia Plath there. I don't know if you know who that is. I still would have her there for really off the wall reasons, but I feel I would definitely still have Maya Angelou. I think I would like to have Angela Davis. And I don't know, because I'm torn between 2 people. So I think I would pick, I don't know, because a part of me would love to have somebody like a Frederick Douglass, right? But in the same sense, I would love to have, what's his name? I'm looking at his face right now. It just escaped me. Oh my gosh, I'm at a loss now for the 5th one.
You know what? I'll be nice because you're my big sister. I'll give you a 6. I'll give you a 6th chair outside of yourself.
Okay. All right. So Sylvia Plath, Danny Glover, Maya Angelou. Definitely would have Pac there. I would have Frederick Douglass. And I would have Why are these questions so hard?
I don't know. And you were so nervous about everything else in the interview, but you flew through that. This is the most like teeth pulling, hair pulling part of this interview.
I feel like the whole interview I was just a ball of mess anyway, because
Shut up.
I never know what to say. And then I don't know. I say this a lot to people too. Like, I have a very small, slight stutter and a speech impediment where I can't say certain things. So I tend to, and because my mind's moving a mile a minute, when it tries to come out, sometimes it's just like, makes no sense, or I get stuck on words. So that always, I'm really nervous about that all the time, because I feel like people don't understand what I'm saying. But these questions is like, I never really thought about it, if that makes sense.
I get you.
But I'm saying, as long as Danny Glover is there, I'm good.
Oh, you're nasty. Okay, so what books are you reading right now? If you are reading books, like what books are you reading right now, and what books would you recommend during this time?
I will show you. So this is one of the books I'm reading right now. It's called 1001 Things Everyone Should Know About African American History. Actually, somebody from TikTok bought it for me. And what it is it's a very short, easy read. It just has all these facts. I mean, from stuff I've read about before to stuff I haven't, which prompts me to research things that I haven't heard before. I'm also finishing up Anthony Hallen's book, The Purpose of Power. So those are the two things I'm reading right now.
Okay. I'm trying to think for my last two questions. If you had to pick a civil rights activist, a social justice warrior that you feel like you relate to the most or inspires you the most, who would that be?
I'd have to say Angela Davis. Only because, I mean, one of many, I'll say, but for her, she exuded this strength during a time where she, as a woman of her shade, had to fight so many people within her community while still trying to fight the real enemy, if that makes sense. And I just feel she is a great example of doing what needs to be done, despite everything else.
Okay. All right. And for my last guess, and your answer has to be, you have to have a way of making this happen. So if you had to pick a guest you would like to see on the Kid Casper podcast, who would it be? But it has to be somebody you have a connection with, like whether it's like a big creator or something like that, that you would want to see me sit down and have a dialogue with. Who would it be? And you got to have connection to make it happen somehow.
I have two. Oh my God, I have more than two. There's so many people that
Give me three, girl. Shoot.
Okay, so of course my first one would be I Speak 1906, Anthony Highland. The second would be Young Mark Fire, and the third would be Official Gico.
Yes. All right. Those are all three solid brothers. That would be dope. Also, you didn't know I was gonna do this, and I'm a dirty younger brother, so I'm gonna get on you a little bit because you tried to give me my flowers yesterday on your live. So you just we were talking about this briefly on your live, but you just recently started something as far as like with your business, you know, what you be doing out here in these streets, you know what I'm saying? You got a little bit of something cooking up. So two things I want to talk about with you real quick is something that I talked to you about offline, about something that I would want to do and you be a part of. And that's you come out as a vendor to like one of these protests, these like nationwide protests I'm looking to hold in my state. You know what I'm saying? And for those that don't know, I I held a protest in my state last year on July the 3rd, not the 4th of July, because I don't celebrate the 4th of July, but I did a protest on July the 3rd in my county, in which we had people of every walk of life come out in their traditional ethnical, I don't know if that's ethnic, heritage. They rocked their flags. I saw this cute little mixed child with a dashiki and a Korean flag and everything like that. And what's up?
The water in the bathroom's been running underneath the sink all day.
Oh, good Lord. Sorry about that, y'all. But but what we're looking to do is have people come out and then like wear their like traditional garments, wear like their flags and stuff like that. And that was something that you wanted to be a part of, in which you were going to help pop up shop essentially. You wanted to kind of talk about that, because we're looking to do it on July the 3rd. It's not set in stone as far as a location, but that's definitely going to happen. But let's talk about that a little bit.
I always feel on the spot.
You're being interviewed. This is kind of what happens.
It's so weird, though. It's so weird. So yeah, I don't know where to go as far as talking about it. First of all, I have to tell you, I think that is a great idea for you to have for one of the protests, because it helps so many small businesses. So let me just say that, in the midst of doing something great. So I wanted to say that to you first. Yeah, I don't know. I'm lost.
I mean, we're gonna have you come out with your tumblers, with your earrings.
Yeah. This is, I try to tell everybody this. Like, I'm not at the point where I want to be with my business right now. So, I'm trying all these different things, but my business, even outside of, like, I do custom work. So, of course, things like I would bring there would be the things I make. But I'm trying to make my website be this place that is inclusive. I do a lot, everything I do, like, has a little bit of Afrocentricity. Is that a word to it?
It is today. I said ethnic. I said ethnicity. What did I say?
Ethnical. What was it? Ethnical?
I think I said ethical. It's a word today. Doggone it. Go ahead.
We're doing our own shit today. But yeah, like a safe space for Black women to find clothes that like are for Black women. I have some Pride merch. I have someone who is non-binary helping me design a shirt for non-binary persons. I want my work to be a reflection of me, if that makes sense. Even when I do the custom work, like, I always try to like sprinkle my little like flavor in it somewhere, some Afrocentric features everywhere. So I don't know.
Yeah, you got a couple of things cooking. And one of those things is you just recently started a Patreon actually on Friday.
I did. Thanks to a very, very special person in my life who helped me do such a thing by the name of Casper.
Oh my gosh, chill out.
I'm just saying.
But so talk a little bit about like what you're looking to accomplish. You're trying to make yourself grow within your business, your influence and everything like that. Talk to us a little bit about like what you are planning to do with that, giving people an opportunity to partner with you and to grow as we quoted earlier. I'm not a business, well, we'll say for your purposes, I'm not a businesswoman. I am a business woman. You know what I'm saying? So talk to us a little bit about what you're looking to do with your Patreon at this time.
So being that it's super new, of course, I do not have anything set in stone, but this is all, I think, leading up to me starting my own, I guess, radio show too. So I definitely want to start that journey on there, and people who join to be able to see me kind of go on that journey and learn about how to do crafts, all the while talking about, the news and social justice issues and putting out resources for petitions and protests and things like that. So it's going to be inclusive of a lot of things.
So that's exciting. I was sorry. I was
I know. I was thinking like,
no,
I
you're
didn't know.
fine. I don't have elevator music. I'm sorry. But yeah. So I'm excited for you. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be super super dope. And because I'm a meddling little brother, I do what I do and everything like that. I actually have it pulled up on my screen a little bit, so I wanted to kind of show everybody like what they can do, and you could walk them through it and everything like that. What are we looking at here? Like what are we looking at as far as like what they could do, ways that they can get involved in some ways, and what do these things come with? So you have a couple of different like memberships and stuff. You got the $5 tier, the Been Better Patreon, the Doing Better Patreon, and the VIP Patreon. Talk a little bit about like what entails and what comes with all of that. This is a time. Look, I'm blowing you up because you thought you was slick yesterday trying to give me my flowers. So talk to us a little bit about like what like these like different tiers and everything come with.
And can you tell, like, I'm not, I get really awkward when I have to talk about myself. Like,
that's fine, but this is my podcast, so we do that here. So
with the first one, the $5 a month membership, simply, you get access to me, but you also get a 10% coupon for my website, which I have so many. I got new things already posted there, new things coming out. And then the further up you go really kind of starts where you get to see the journey of everything else I have going on, the custom stuff, the craft stuff, the radio stuff, the YouTube show stuff. Like, I guess instead of just seeing the finished product, you get to see like any resources I've used for anything. The highest one I'm excited about because I've created a gift for everybody who signs up for that. So I'm like super excited about that. And that's about it. I'm trying to, I tell my kids all the time, one of my kids used the phrase, you're trying to build a brand, but that's not at all what I'm trying to build. I think I'm trying to build a community.
Mm-hmm.
Is that too presumptuous? Like,
no, because I mean, I did the same like with what I have with like Divinity, my black sheep on Tetelestai and everything like that. With you guys, even though not everybody that I talked to that met in this space is on my Patreon, but just making it a little bit more, what's the word? Not so much even convenient for me, but like, if I'm going to allow people to have access to me, or as I always tell you, I'm not arguing with anybody that's not paying me. You know what I'm saying? I think that's necessary. And then I think it gives people not so much even ownership, but to be a part of something that's bigger than them. And as you grow, you want people to grow with you, whatever that looks like, whether that's you doing like your master classes to teach people how to do arts and crafts, whether that's letting people see what you do behind the scenes, the creative genius of what Eb is and everything like that. And yeah,
I wouldn't say all that.
Hey, don't play with me. And I threw together a little thing for you. I thought that was super dope. I'm still waiting for you to post that I'm still waiting for you to throw that up on your social media. You playing games out here.
No, let me tell you, I literally have watched this thing over and over and over again because for one, I didn't know you were doing it. You know what I'm saying? So like, and I wasn't thinking when you were asking questions, like find out what he's doing. I was just, like here, that's the. But when I saw it, I was like, I literally cried because A, I freaking love it. And then B, it's like, it makes it look, I don't even know how to explain it. It feels like what I'm doing is legitimate. Does that make sense? Like, it feels like I can look at that and I'm like, wow, that's just really like professional and nice. And, you know, it makes me feel like, okay, what I'm trying to do, I don't know, it's valid. Does that make sense from that, you know?
You're seeing the fruits of your labor and everything that comes with it, from the seeds that
Well,
you planted into the work you've been doing. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
I feel like I want to take a second to like just to thank you. And other,
oh my
well,
gosh.
I say it like this, and I say it all the time, and I know people are tired of hearing it, but I have come across people who have given me the courage to do. I never would have quit my job, a job that I hated, to try to make a dream work had it not been for people I met. Simple words, or somebody taking it upon themselves to do something like you did. Like, I've never had these people before, and I have to say, even on my bad days, I'm blessed. You know.
Yeah, you think you slick and everything like that. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? As long as you look, I told you off rip, like my handle is more than just my handle. That's my way of life. And that's just the way I feel like carrying myself. And, I'm more so speaking into the greatness that you already had before I even came along. And you know what? Because I'm gonna make you cry or a little bit. I actually have it pulled up over here to the side, right? So people could see what you getting into.
I'm about to say something, and some of y'all gonna be mad, but I don't care. Do better, honey, do better.
And I'm trying to find a way that I can take not so much that, but if I can make like a little trailer or something, give you like a theme music intro for your Do Better YouTube show. Working on that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get it done. That won't be an issue. But yeah, y'all.
I'm just trying to have a show like you. I'm trying to be like you. You are the mentor.
Stop it. Her link is in the comment section, and the link to get to her Patreon is also in the description of this video. So if you could please partner with what my sister is doing over on Patreon, so you could be a part of this journey, sow your seeds into some good soil, and be a part of some good work. And not even that, for I'm gonna say it. She didn't tell me to say it. She didn't know I was doing any of this. But y'all want to support black businesses, literally put your money where your mouth is. You know what I'm saying? So I said it. She didn't tell me to say that. Y'all know Eb, her pride is bigger than my hair. So that she ain't ever asked me to do none of this. Everything's all good with that. But yeah, pleasure having you by, sis. It was dope. It was super dope. This was definitely one of my. You said this was gonna be a boring interview. Everybody over here enjoyed themselves. Can everybody,
Listen,
if y'all
I'm not that interesting. I tell you, I'm not that interesting.
If you don't shut your behind
I literally just like to cuss a lot, and I think that's why I literally just like to cuss and talk about shit.
I'm tired of you. I'm literally tired of you. I want you to know that from literally the bottom of my heart. I'm tired of you. Oh man. But yeah, so everybody, like I said, please sign up for my sister's Patreon. Yeah, she act like she really ain't all that, you know what I'm saying? But even like when I threw that thing together for her, it was easy because I had somebody that was inspiring to be inspired off of to make it. So it was all you know what I'm saying? I just literally put a piece of art to the face of the operation. So all good, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a play it again just to because you got on my nerves yesterday.
Just say something, and some of y'all gonna be mad, but I don't care. Do better, honey, do better.
And on that note, everybody, this was a really dope interview. Once again, Eb, thank you again for blessing me. I know it was short notice. I know you're super busy and everybody's pulling you left and right. You know you're on your way. You're on your way up. I'm happy I was able to get you before you done forgot about it, nigga, and everything. And you on
I
TV
would
over
never.
I'm kidding. But yeah, hopefully everybody enjoyed this video. Please do me a favor, if everybody that watched this, if you want to tune in on more content and conversations like this, please subscribe, turn the alert bell on and everything like that. Like this video, share it with somebody. And like I said, sign up for my sister's Patreon. You know what I'm saying? That like, as one that has used Patreon, it not only help the littlest bits, it helps obviously, but it also literally you are able to be a part of something that you guys get to enjoy and everything like that. So yeah, but I agree. Thank you, Ebony. She's a pretty dope lady. You know what I'm saying, with all her twisted tea. And also, and also, I wasn't kidding. Y'all need to go on Twitter and stuff. Her number is gonna keep getting bigger, so I'm gonna need y'all to just kind of work that in. Like, make it easier for Twisted Tea. You know what I'm saying? They might get her cheaper now because she's only at 55,000, followers. You know what I'm saying? But when she get bigger, that price go up. So y'all need to get on Twisted Tea now and make sure that my sister get a check. You heard me? You know what I'm saying? So, oh man. Thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. Thank you everybody for being respectful. Y'all know the handle, Mr. Lead with Love. That's not even what I answer to. That's my way of life. That's my code and everything like that. Thank you everybody for checking this out. And hopefully you guys will be back, because I got some to get into this week. I have an interview with Asian American content creator on Thursday named Charlotte Yoon. I have an episode on Tuesday talking about the church failed the Black community, and on Wednesday, in the sense of Pride Month and in the spirit of Pride Month, we're doing the church failed the LGBTQIA plus community. We gonna get in some good trouble on here. Thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. Always remember, you are beautiful, blessed, and beloved. Raisins don't go on potato salad because that's trifling and it's damn near demonic, and Jesus wasn't white. Have a good night.